Yeah, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Another episode of the Format Podcast live. Who got turn your speaker off, man? Whoever that is, turn that off. Damn. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? We got a special show here tonight. We're gonna talk some Bronny James, of course, just another twist on the Bronny James saga, and we're gonna talk some Team USA. But I got a team here with me myself. Obviously, I got my main man G. Y'all know what it is. I got Bryant the Transform, and I got the heavily requested Dominique, the star of the call that went viral. What's up, D?
Hi, hey guys, happy Thursday. Just really happy to be here with you guys. Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it. All right, so like we said, we got a couple of good topics to discuss with y'all tonight. Can't wait to get into that. But before we do, y'all know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right, team. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with this first topic. So Bronny James, we know, has been probably the biggest story in sports over the last month or so. Obviously, first how he got into the league. Obviously, his dad greasing the skids for him to end up with the Los Angeles Lakers, and then of course his difficulties early on in his summer league career, really having a lot of difficulties in his first 3 games, and just got an alert from ESPN on my phone. Bronny hit a step back 3, so yay. But last 2 games, so the previous game and then tonight, he seems to be playing very well, starting to kind of find his groove and fit in summer league. So I'm sure we're going to get a whole ton of he's silencing the haters, but we'll get to that shortly. Then on the flip side, we have Alexandre Sarr, the number 2 overall pick from France in the draft, and he's had some difficulties, especially his last game. He was, I think, 0 for 15 from the floor. So we're going to kind of get into the dichotomy in terms of the way these two are treated, and why everybody's really going off about Bronny James versus them not really mentioning Alexandre Sarr. I mean, it seems pretty simple to me, but clearly it's not. A lot of people need some assistance on breaking down why that is. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with our newest guest. Dominique, why don't you go ahead and give us your opening salvo? I'm gonna call it that because I know it's about to get hot in here. So let's go ahead, give us your opening salvo on what you think is some of the biggest differences and why this is going on the way it is.
And I just want to start this off by saying that I'm really happy for Bronny that he had a breakthrough performance in the summer league, because just what he's been struggling with, the media attention, just the overall discord that him even being the NBA has caused, and the divide amongst fans and households. I think that he really needed that game. So I'm happy for him. I felt like he was about to be seriously depressed if he didn't start hitting some shots. Mm-hmm. So, I think the biggest difference here between Alexandre Sarr and Bronny is that, one, Alexandre Sarr, he hasn't been playing like poop the entire, first couple of games, in summer league. And I mean, he's a first round pick that's being pretty much treated like a second round pick. It's like they're opposite in a way. So Bronny, he's getting the media attention as if he was Alexandre Sarr, right? As if he was drafted in the same place that he was. So I think that the biggest difference that we're seeing here is obviously the name. So Bronny James has been trending since he was in high school. He's been trending since his father said that, he was better than anybody on the Lakers that he was playing with currently, that he could be in the NBA right now. That was what LeBron tweeted. So
Right.
all of that pressure that he's placed on his son, to come in the league and be this qualified NBA player, it's contributed to, I think, his struggles, and just the fact that we see him, wearing this NBA costume. And now, we see him, breakout game yesterday. I mean, I don't really, a lot of people are going to say, oh, summer league, we can't really think much of the summer league. We can't really make a big deal of, whether he's playing well or he's playing bad. So that's kind of where I stand. Like, I don't really think much of his 2 3-point shots that he hit yesterday. I mean, he hit 5 3-pointers in the McDonald's game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he hit a 3-pointer when he was in college. I could be wrong about that. Please, anybody.
I think he was about 26% from 3 in college. So he hit a few.
So 26% is pretty
poor,
pretty abysmal, right? So we're not talking about a guy who's known for 3-pointers. And I don't think that fans watching and even critics watching should be looking for him to hit threes. It makes me sad that the commentary is that, oh, Bronny's going to turn into a 3-and-D guy. 3-and-D guys are like 6'8", and they were good players in high school and college. So, to be 3-and-D, you actually have had to have been good, and you're taking like a step down. You don't grow into 3-and-D. So, for me, the difference between Alexandre Sarr and Bronny is that Alexandre Sarr is, coming into the league as a first-round pick, and people are saying that, why aren't we criticizing him? They are. When he shot 0 for 15, it was on every single news outlet. So it's just that nobody was also saying that he was going to be the next thing since Taster's Choice. So, I just think that those are the key differences there. There's a lot of hype around Bronny, father-son duo in the league, none of that. Alexandre Sarr earned his spot.
Yeah,
and those are the key differenses, right? He earned his NBA spot. He was drafted. He was a qualified, player prior to coming. Where is he from? France?
Yeah.
France, yeah.
So,
his brother's on the OKC roster. I didn't realize that till he got drafted.
He's from France, and he averaged double the amount of points that Bronny did in college.
Mm-hmm.
He played poor in that game. He shot poor, but there's just clear differences. Even when you take a look at the form, he has a jump shot. Bronny has a set shot.
That's true. I noticed that earlier too.
Yeah. If I'm Alexandre Sarr, I feel embarrassed about that performance, but I certainly don't want to be compared to someone who's not even qualified to be in the league.
All right. G, go ahead. Let's get your thoughts on it.
So I think about Bronny James, right? And the second coming of LBJ, I look at what he's getting paid, right? He's getting paid to perform, and he's underdeveloped, right? He's not where he need to be. But then I look at the draft, right? This was one of those drafts where you're gonna have a lot of busts. I mean, if and I said this before, if we didn't have international players, Bronny probably would have went first round. And the fact that we got a 7-footer who's known for defense, I think he was like 28% from 3 last year. So he's not really I would say a pure shooter. It's just something that he can do. So as far as him not getting the press of being the same press that Bronny is getting, that's not going to happen. He definitely earned his spot. I will say that, right? Averaging 14 points in high school. I'm just talking about Bronny. That doesn't move anyway. That's like a JUCO. Like you'll qualify to play at JUCO with 14 points a game as a guard, undersized guard. But I say all these things just to say that, like, we definitely have, and the reason why there's a Bronny in the league right now is because this league isn't the draft class is weak. I mean, it's pretty dismal when it comes to the kind of core professionals or the core athletes that we used to getting in the draft. We always had like 4 or 5, like just really, really good players that come out. And there are some, but when I look at like the ones that's getting the most press, right? The Bronnies, I'm gonna shout out Bub Carrington from Baltimore, St. Francis kid, man. He's super solid for the Wizards. And he's probably the alpha dog when it comes to this that Wizards draft class. It's just he's in a backseat. But that's pretty much all I have on the Bronny and Sarr. This kid, the young dude, the 7-footer, he gonna come into his own. He's 7'1". He can defend around the paint. And they want him to shoot threes when he should be, dropping that shoulder and dunking on folks to make that splash.
Right.
But I mean, 0 for 15. Whoever's coach, they need to get in his ear and tell him, get your big ass down on the block, grab some rebounds, block some shots. This is why
you're too tall, man. You're too tall to be doing all that.
Draft a 7-footer.
Yeah, you're not Dirk, bro.
Threes, man.
You're not Dirk.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents on the whole Bronny and Sarr topic.
No doubt. Transform. I'm gonna get to you in a sec, but before we do that, let's hear what the odd couple, Rob Parker and Chris Broussard on FS1 had to say about this whole thing and kind of this exact topic of, before we even play that, it's astounding to me that people are really even asking this question. Like, well, why aren't we getting on Alexandre Sarr the way we're getting on Bronny? And like, that's just so freaking disingenuous. And we know who they are. They are the LeBron apologists that are asking that question. But let's go ahead and hear what those guys had to say, and then we'll come back and we'll get to the Transformer.
Last night, I think it was last night, but his last game, Rob, he was 0 for 15. Now, this isn't Bronny. This isn't the 55th pick in the draft. This is the second pick in the draft. He's a 7-footer from France, and he was 0 for 15.
Yeah,
I think 0 for 7 from Trey. So what are your thoughts on that? And a lot of people wonder, well, why? Eddie House even asked, why aren't we talking about him like we're talking about Bronny?
Because nobody, knows who that guy is. His dad is not one of the most famous basketball players who ever played. His dad didn't finagle to get him in to a situation that nobody had, for the most part, Chris, had ever had happen. And that's why Bronny's always going to be a bigger story because of his dad. And that's why if Bronny was, Chris, the 55th pick who did not wasn't related to LeBron
Jones.
Bronny Jones, and he was off to this, bad start, shaky start, whatever you want to use the term. It wouldn't be the highlights on Sports Center. Exactly. That you know that. Nobody 100%. But if you're going to, if Bronny James has a good day or a steal or a big three or whatever, and they're showing that, Chris, they're going to show when you go 0 for 15 from 3 or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's what comes with it. But because if he was playing well, they wouldn't be like, we're not showing that. No, right? They would be like, we're not showing, he's the 55th pick. We're not showing the Summer League highlights of that guy. They would be showing it like crazy.
Can you imagine if he was killing?
Right.
It would be like
it would be Chris, you would have to turn the channel. Am I right? If he was killing.
And it's interesting, Rob, and it's not a surprise, but their number 1 draft pick, or their the 17th pick overall, Dalton Knecht from Tennessee, he's actually been playing well.
Yeah,
he's playing really well, and he's not really you're not hearing much at all about him.
Man, before I get to you, Transformer, to that point that the odd couple just made is crazy, because even before Bronny got on this little 2-game, I'll call it, hot streak where he's performing better, they were literally, they being like ESPN and whatnot, were putting together highlight packages with maybe the one, the one shot or the 2 shots that he made in the game, and really trying to find a way to spin it in their coverage to make it seem like he was doing something incredible. So definitely agree with that, what the odd couple was saying. Go ahead, Transformer. Let's hear what you got. And show what
first of all,
homerism, bro.
Hey, first and most importantly, okay?
Yeah.
Why would you throw that video in before my part?
I'm just saying.
I feel like you planted that on purpose. You let Dom go first. You let G come in. Let me go ahead and throw this little Rob Parker. I got what you're doing, but I got you. Bro.
Nah, man, not at all.
But no, man, like the question is, the question was, what do we think about, Bronny so far? I look at it as a high and a low, right? We're experiencing the same thing in reverse when it came from Bronny, struggling at the beginning. Now he's picked it up in the last 2 games. Sarr came out good in the beginning. Now he's struggling in the last 2 games. Folks got to understand, these guys are rookies. They're going to go through these highs, these lows, these peaks, these valleys, because they're trying to adapt to the NBA life, adapt to the NBA range, adapt to the speed of the game. So when you're looking at the game perspective, these guys are going to have bad games. Sarr is 1 for 24 in his last 24 shots. He's going to struggle. He's going to have the moments where he struggle. But he's a 7-footer. He's 19. He's agile. He has that leaping ability. So he's going to have games where you're going to be like, man, we're going to forget about this over 15 game. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Bronny is a prospect. You know what I mean? He's the 55th pick. We're literally only talking about him because of his last name. Keep it a buck. Nobody ever cares about the 55th pick. You can't name me the last year's 55th pick, previous year's 55th pick, the previous year's 55th pick. We can't go in that perspective. So, I think, what I'm saying, he's adapting to the game just tonight. He's 5 for 10, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So he's adapting. He's developing his game. And I think that's what you should expect from a 55th pick. I'm not expecting a 20-point game. I'm not expecting a 25-point game. I just want to see if you can hoop. Your dad said you can hoop.
I was about to.
You know what I mean? So
I was definitely about to push back on you for that. And yes, I get it. 55th pick, nobody's expecting that. However, we know, and we got to stop. Well, not 3 of us here, but the Laker guy, I don't know, but we got to stop ignoring the fact that the real problem here is that his dad put all this out there tweeting that nonsense, as Dominique mentioned earlier.
Who cares?
Stop. No, you can't say who cares. That's why this is such a big deal.
So just because LeBron said it, you lose all sense of basketball over the last 67
I don't lose all sense of basketball, but you don't act like you don't listen to these people and you don't pay attention to what's being said and you don't hear it and you don't see it. I don't lose all sense of basketball. I know Dominique doesn't. I know G doesn't. I don't know about you. Nah, in all seriousness.
Yeah, because I'm the eyeball. I'm the eyeball here. That's fine.
No. It's not even that. Real talk. It's the fact that it's the fact that we know good and damn well that LeBron's pressure on Bronny and LeBron's name is what's bringing all this attention and creating this issue. Think about it. Even though it's LeBron's son, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, had he not said that Bronny is better than most of these dudes on League Pass, is lightweight hilarious. Okay. Had he not said Bronny can help the Lakers right now, had he not said these things, I think we would have a lot less of an issue. Am I right? Yes, he would still get an undue amount of attention because of whose son he is, but how he came into the league and the commentary, additional commentary from his father, that's what's creating the problems. And you can't act like you don't know that that's not a major part of it. Come on, bro.
But why would I care? That's that man's son.
That's you.
When
LeVar
Ball started talking all his crap about all them ball boys, pause, because that did sound crazy. All right. When he started talking about all his ball boys, we all looked at him the same way. Like, oh man, this man just talking. He's giving noise. You know what I'm saying? But like that's that man's son. You have the basketball knowledge to see the game. You saw USC. You're like, okay, what are we talking about? That's that man's son, bro.
That's not the same thing.
Y'all taking words over what he said, and you're ignoring your knowledge over the last 30 years.
No. It's not the same thing to make that comparison. It's not the same thing to make that comparison because LeVar Ball is just, an average dude. He's not a dude that's supposed to be some basketball genius and basketball savant, some amazing evaluator of talent, some put together all these championship teams and one of the smartest players that we've ever seen play the game of basketball, right? All these things. LeVar Ball is not that. LeVar Ball was a guy who also did not have the leverage to ensure that his sons got drafted, right? So you can't compare LeVar Ball and LeBron James. That is an absurd comparison, bro. You can't.
So now you got to have qualifications to talk about your son.
No, bro. My son is my son, but if he ain't ready, if he's not ready, I'm not gonna go out here and lie to the world and tell him.
That's you as a father. How you gonna tell another man how to be a father to his son?
So
if I want to talk my crap about my boy, I'm gonna talk my crap about.
I got you.
Boy.
I got you. So as my bad. Go ahead, G. And when you done, I got
Brian, the Transformer. So as a Lakers fan, do you feel like with that $7 million that y'all paid Bronny, y'all could have went out and got like Pat Bev, somebody would have been an immediate impact on your team on defense? Or you okay with that pick? You okay with the draft?
Am I okay with the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the steal in the first. We got the steal in the first round. We got a very, very good steal in Dalton Connect in the first round. We have the 55th pick. I don't care about the 55th pick. I never have.
No, I'm just talking about the dollar amount that he was paid, right? Because I mean, as a sports fan, as a Lakers fan, you follow the cap space as well, right? You follow the cap, and you're like, oh man, this kid isn't worth $7 million for however many years. Like, why are we giving him so much money? We could have went and got somebody else. I'm just trying to see
name who?
Pat Bev out there.
Pat Bev is going to make us a championship contender.
Pat
Bev was already on our team. We've already had Pat Bev. We had that experience.
You sidestepping the question. The question is do you believe that with that pickup and that money, that dollar value that's attached to it, that Bronny is making you guys better? He's going to the G League. You may never see him again.
I agree.
Right?
Oh, I agree.
So
I said that at the very beginning.
Guaranteed. So you just threw all your money away when you could have picked up somebody that could have been a sub, gave you some energy off the bench. Now you have nothing. You just essentially just threw a pick away, and you threw $7 million away. So I feel your pain, bro. I know you're not gonna say it, but I feel your pain.
No, because I look at it like this, man. No, we don't care about the 55th pick. The 55th pick, you're talking about the 12th man off the bench. When it gets to the playoffs, when does the 12th man come off the bench? So to say that we wasting that money and we're giving that to him and we could have got something better, name the player that would have been a playoff rotational piece that would have got us over the hump. We're not a 55th pick away from beating the Denver Nuggets. We're not a 55th pick away from being dominant. Like, I don't understand your perspective of now, okay, the cap matters. Now we all of a sudden want to be GMs, and now we're paying this absurd amount of money to Bronny and it being a project. Okay, name me the player that we were going to get with that said money. Name me the player that would have made us who we need to be in the playoffs right now. Since it's that big of a deal that we're talking about the cap, name me the player.
I'm gonna tell you like this: just looking at the Lakers, they're dismal. It's gonna take a complete revamp, and as long as you got LeBron on your roster, y'all ain't gonna win shit for a long time.
Now we're changing the subject.
No, we're not. I'm telling you, that's just what I'm saying. What I did say is you need somebody, right? You got nobody right now. You need somebody, and let's take that $7 million and do something with it. I know Pat Bev is, he's going overseas to play basketball right now because
$4 million, $4 million.
Yeah. But the thing that I'm saying, you're missing the point that I'm saying is, like, if you want to build a team and you want to get better every year, you use every coin you got to get better. You don't just throw money away for a side project. You could have just gave him that whatever the 55th pick normally get, right? Whatever they normally get, and just let them play, because you're not gonna get that much off of them. But to throw that amount of money at him, I think is just a slap in the face to Lakers fans, when you could have just put that in a package deal to try to get somebody to get you guys better, because the West is gonna eat y'all alive.
End of the day,
there are veterans that could have been signed to the Lakers that they couldn't sign because of Bronny's contract.
And they were supposed to be the championship piece that we needed.
You're saying you're talking about championship piece, right? When a season ago the Lakers were in the Western Conference Finals, and I'm pretty sure I heard you mention that on one of the shows. So obviously, I don't believe I believe that the Lakers have been a pretender for the last 6 years or so, but you believe them to be a contender. So which one is it? Are they a contender and all they need is maybe one or two pieces that they could have gotten during this offseason, but instead they gave Bronny a guaranteed 4-year contract where it's what is it, 7-8 million? How much was it?
I think it's about
7.9 mil. Yeah.
Right. So like, I'm pretty sure there's a veteran. I cannot remember his name, but he just signed a $1 million, like a vet minimum that has experience that, could have made a difference for the Lakers just in terms of being, a part of the rotation coming off the bench. But there are a couple of veterans that were signed. There's we can go through the list right now if we pull it up.
Okay. Well, I want to name them. Because nobody's naming nobody. We're just saying that there's a veteran.
So just to let you know, Taurean Prince left, the guy that LeBron was blaming for his turnovers last season. Then we had, it looks like Mo Bamba has a 1-year deal somewhere. Who else? Even James Wiseman, who spent time in the G League, who's way better than Bronny. He's signed to a 2-year deal somewhere. It was just officially announced. Who else? Let's see. We have Aaron Holiday on a 2-year deal to the Rockets. We have, who else? Even Chris Paul, he was waived and now he's on San Antonio. Why wouldn't he have helped? Oh, I know why. Because he's a real point guard, and real point guards
have
play
the ball.
with LeBron.
Or he's about to be just the same age as LeBron James, and we don't.
But he can't impact the Lakers. Oh, I know why, because LeBron doesn't know how to play off the ball. Okay.
That's
and
right.
then we have
or his injury history is just as much as AD in a bad year.
I'm pretty sure I let you speak. You're asking me for names and you're talking over me. So do you want names? Because I'm looking at the list. Do you want names?
Nobody is a playoff was going to help us in the playoffs.
Why not? Why wouldn't Taurean Prince have helped? Why did they let him walk?
We saw that experience last year.
Malik Beasley. Oh, what was the experience? That LeBron was turning over the ball and he just yelled at Taurean Prince.
So we're going to ignore that D'Lo went 0 for whatever.
We're not talking about D'Lo. You asked me which veterans that are not with the Lakers that could have impacted more than Bronny. The fact that they were in the Western Conference Final, right? That means that they were a potential contender in your mind. Now, I don't believe that, but
it's the Western Conference Final. How is that not a contender? What is a contender if you make it to the Western Conference Final?
Orchestrate when you are orchestrating and manufacturing your playoff runs, when you're purposely landing in the 8th spot so that you can get a particular matchup. That's what LeBron has been doing his entire career. But Malik Beasley, he wouldn't have moved the needle for the Lakers. I'm pretty sure he would have. He's a great shooter.
Yeah.
His shooting percentages are better than LeBron's.
Well, let me
tell you why none of these picks would have worked for the Lakers. Nobody's going to help them because LeBron literally swallows every position. So nobody's going to help them because he can't play off the ball. All he does is give the ball up when it's time to get a last minute shot off. So people can't get into rhythm.
He leads in buzzer beaters.
What do you mean he leads in buzzer beaters? What does that have to do with the fact that you're not a contender?
I can tell when you guys are not looking in between the lines.
Moving in a different direction. You asked the question, it's asked and answered. So which one do you want? Do you want the questions answered? Which players? I just listed a bunch of them that are better than
nobody. None of those guys are a rotational playoff piece. Why not? Chris Paul, but when is Chris Paul ever available?
And Malik Beasley is not a rotational playoff piece. Malik Beasley isn't a good player. That's what you're trying to tell me? That he can't impact the Lakers.
We've had that.
Come off the bench and shoot shots and knock them down. That's what you're telling me.
And when it was a time to knock down those shots, what happened?
Fit into a square like that he's not fitting in. He doesn't fit on any NBA team because he's not an NBA player. He didn't fit at USC and he didn't fit at Sierra Canyon.
That's true.
So we the four of us, can we agree that he doesn't belong in the NBA?
I can agree that he didn't earn his spot the right way. I did not say. I'm not going to say he doesn't earn. That's not what we're
talking about. Or are we talking about LeBron being a father and a husband tonight? Which one is it?
All right,
so hold on. Talk about both because if you want to talk about narrative, we can talk about narrative. If we can talk about in between the lines.
You asked the question and we answered it. Well, I answered it.
And you guys didn't tell me which one of those guys.
No, you refused to believe. I just told I'm asking you now. So you're saying Malik Beasley cannot be that person.
Had it passed.
Right, so Chris Paul is not a rotational playoff piece.
And I asked, when is he available, sir? When is he available, Bruce?
Why wouldn't he be available?
Well, hold on.
He's always hurt.
Hold on. Okay. Transform. Wait. Hold on, Dominique. Transform. You told me a couple shows back when we got into it, and I was telling you that the bubble championship wasn't real because LeBron would not have made it through that season, right? And you told me you can't assume that because someone got hurt in the past that they'll get hurt again. Now that's exactly what you are doing in true LeBronite fashion. That's exactly what you're doing in reference to Chris Paul. So how come I can't do it when I tell you about LeBron and use that as an example, but you can do it when you're using Chris Paul? How does that work?
Because when we had that conversation, where was Chris Paul at the time? In Golden State still. In Golden State still. How much is his contract?
I don't know what it was in Golden State, but I know
over $30 million a year.
He took a veteran minimum to go play in San Antonio, though.
That's after the fact, though, Bruce.
So why couldn't he do that?
That was way after our conversation.
I'm not following. I'm not
following. He shot over 40% last season with the Bucks, just to be clear. Okay, and that's what you're talking about. LeBron James needing shooters. Okay, so he shot 41% with the Bucks. This is a guy that could have made a difference, but of course, LeBron James doesn't know how to utilize the players on the floor that he has.
All of a sudden, 4 championships later, he doesn't know how to utilize.
4 championships later, that's the past. We're talking about today. What have you done for me lately? So he's about to go into his 40s, and we haven't seen a championship from the Lakers since 2020. And they're a storied franchise, and the Celtics are likely to repeat next season. On LeBron's head, on the Lakers' head.
I know you like that, Bruce.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a rivalry. There's a rivalry. How could you get a statue when you let the Celtics drop two titles on you? Like, that's wild.
One.
Oh, it's one right now, but it looks like they're going to be probably repeating.
Well, baby, let me go to Vegas with you, please, because if you can predict like that, then we need to be making more money. You feel me?
All right. So maybe, check this out. Maybe they won't repeat, but the bottom line is that they got a title on LeBron's watch. Period.
A lot of people got titles.
A lot of people got titles on everybody's watch.
But it's different when the Celtics get a title. And they supersede the Lakers in banners. So once that happens, that's a bad thing. That's
so it's one and one. LeBron has a championship in LA.
It's not 1-1. The Celtics now have more titles than the Lakers. That's what you need to understand is what.
So now that's all of a sudden LeBron's fault that they won all them championships before. When LeBron has been in a Laker uniform, Lakers won one, Boston won one. So what's the problem there?
We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that now that they have eclipsed the Lakers, and that is on LeBron, that is on the organization, and he's a part of that.
Okay.
All right. Let me hop in here.
Okay.
Let me hop in here, B, because something you said stuck out to me. Right earlier, you brought up the question. A guy can't big up his son, right? And that brings me to a very interesting clip that really pissed me off, for lack of a better word, by Gilbert Arenas. So let's hear what he had to say along those lines, then we come back and talk about it.
How do you think he's going to pan out this year? I mean, they just played in the summer league. He scored 4 points. I mean, no one. I think the problem is that because of his last name, people expect him to be a superstar as a 55th pick, which is not a realistic expectation. He's a 55th pick. Treat him like a 55th pick.
And that's what they don't want to do that. And that becomes the issue here. The issue is really not Bronny James being picked 55. It's not. It's father's mad. If you're a male and you're a father and you're mad, you're not mad that LeBron James, you're more mad that this father did something for his son that you didn't do for yours. So it's more your insecurity as a father than it is LeBron James, because fathers then passed on their businesses, their teams to their kids. No one says anything. So the fact that he used his leverage to get his son on the team is a problem. That's insecurities right there. Because if you're a real father, we have plumber, father and son plumbing, right?
Right.
You're trying to pass on. That's the point of fatherhood, right? To pass on to the next generation. So you want to put your kids in the best situation that they can. So me as the father, having my son on the team with me so I can teach him the ropes of this NBA, that's the gift I can give him.
So that really got on my damn nerves, because 3 of us here are clearly fathers, right? And so you're really going to sit here and tell me that because I don't see it how you see it, and I don't agree with how LeBron went about it, I'm a bad father, or I'm jealous, or I'm insecure? Man, get the hell out of here. The reaches that these people will go to protect LeBron James is utterly absurd. I can't even believe that. Secondly, he creates just a terrible and false analogy in terms of, we see guys that they have businesses, they hand the businesses down to their son. First of all, LeBron James does not own the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, you would think so from the way he's moving, but he doesn't own them. So it's not his family business to just hand something down. Secondly, in most of these businesses, I think Gilbert Arenas made the analogy of the plumbing company in that clip. If most of these dudes, they own a plumbing company, they hand it down to their son learns how to be a plumber before they get the company. Bronny clearly, to that point, had not learned how to be an NBA basketball player. The third point is this. He, at the end of that clip, he makes the point and says, he's with me so I can teach him, how to navigate being an NBA player in the NBA. Well, what happened to all the other players throughout the history of the NBA who didn't have their fathers right there to teach them how to navigate being in the NBA? This is ridiculous. And how far these people will go to push this narrative and stretch things and try to protect LeBron, it doesn't even make sense. Come on, man. How many ridiculous things do we have to hear before we start calling this stuff out? And thank goodness you're hearing more people in the sports media start calling stuff out. Super Rock. I'm an insecure hater. Okay. All right. That's, you know what? I'm going to let you have that, bro. I'm going to be real professional right now because
Bruce, shout out.
People on this panel already know me. They know how I get down.
Hey,
so
Super Rock, hit that like button, though. Hit the like button, bro. I appreciate it. Hit the like button.
Hit the likes, but shout out to Pam Brown. He's back as young disciple. I see you out there.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, that's Pam Brown.
Pam Brown, what up, bro?
Pam Brown follows me wherever I go.
Hey, I appreciate you being in here, Pam Brown, for real. So good looks, young disciple. Thank you. And anybody in the chat, man, please make sure you go ahead, hit that like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Jakari Jenkins, stupid comment. You need to listen to the show more often. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Whoa. Let's lay off my boy. Lay off my boy. He's probably playing
NCAA right now. Bronny, we're yo, that drops at midnight, right?
It's been out. You didn't get the early release?
No, I didn't get the early release, man. I pre-ordered
They've been playing that for days now.
I know they've been playing it for days. I pre-ordered it and I thought I was going to be able to play it early, but I guess not. But so here's the deal, Jakari Jenkins. Thanasis was drafted not by the Bucks, but by the New York Knicks. And when he was drafted, Giannis was averaging 6 points per game. Giannis did not get Thanasis drafted, so false equivalency, stop it. Now, is he helping?
Here's the reason why he still has a job. I'll tell you that much.
I got you, bro. I got you. Is he helping Thanasis stay in the league? He absolutely is. Nino, appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you so much, man. Good looking out.
Nino.
Definitely, that's love. But yeah, we can't compare Thanasis and Bronny James because again, Thanasis didn't get drafted on the strength of his brother. He got drafted because somebody thought he was a legitimate NBA draft pick, and so there you go. But
I believe he's using the case that yes, Bronny's using leverage, but he's saying, but Giannis is using leverage as well. Like Giannis has only been in the league for the last 3-4 years. I don't even know how long he's been at this point because of his brother's name. And I think that's where AJ is trying to make that comparison. Like, okay, Bronny's here, why? Bron's name.
So my question
Giannis is here, why? Giannis's name.
But do we know that realistically, Thanasis, he's not in a position to get a spot or to get a bunch of time with the Bucks? But do we know that he wouldn't be in the league? And the reason I say that, remember, and you should know this, Laker fan, Giannis had another brother who won a chip with the Lakers. I think
we drafted
the championship team, right? So these guys clearly they could play ball. Now, are the other two brothers going to be superstars? No, right? Giannis is the guy.
Didn't even play.
Giannis is helping.
But he got a ring,
right? But again, he was on the team. I think that was before he was in the league before like Giannis really blew up. And again, Giannis is not the one getting these dudes drafted. So that is not the same thing, and that's just a false equivalency. So
Giannis was already Giannis in 2020.
Say again.
Giannis was already Giannis.
No, but I'm saying I don't think that's what that's not what got I can't remember what the brother's name was, but I don't think that's the one who
the baby brother.
Yeah, that's the baby
brother.
We got
him in like
get him drafted is what I'm saying. The Lakers did their due diligence. They evaluated him. They drafted him, right?
I got you.
Can we honestly say that that's how Bronny got in here? And again, Bronny's here. We get it. Bronny played well last game. Bronny is playing well tonight. And for anyone calling me a hater, go back and check the show. I have consistently stated that I want Bronny to have success. I'm not hating on the young man, but I'm 1000% not happy with the way it all happened. So let's not be disingenuous here. Let's not act like two things can't be true. I can be unhappy with the way it happened. Right, I can be unhappy with the way it happened, but I can.
Like, why do we even have to defend that? But seriously, Bruce, the fact that we even have to defend these things and say, "Oh, I'm not a hater," so funny to me because Transformer said in the beginning of the show, like, "Oh, just because LeBron said it, you're gonna negate your 30-year knowledge of of basketball." A lot of things that LeBron says, we just negate all logic and throw it out the window and repeat literally everything that he says. He is the person that came up with the narrative that people are hating on him. He is the person that came up with the idea that everybody's a hater because they don't believe he's the GOAT or because they just don't think that he is everything that, people are claiming him to be. Right. And just because you have an opinion doesn't make you a hater. So shout out to you, Pam Brown. I don't have anything personal against LeBron. I don't know him. So it's not personal. We're just talking about our opinions. An opinion is not hate.
But the opinions always seem to be negative. I'm being honest. They seem always to be negative.
Having a negative opinion is not hate, though.
Right.
All that I've gotten from my basketball opinions are personal attacks. I'm a hater, who hurt me. These are the things that LeBron can say.
Facts,
then it becomes he's a great father and a great husband. This has nothing how somebody plays on the court has nothing to do with if they're a great father or husband. And when we were able to separate that with Kobe Bryant, I don't think so many people thought that he was the best person throughout his career. Okay. But he was a great player, and we don't need to bring up personal things when we're talking about basketball. These are sports, and LeBron is the only player that we have to do that with. Nobody else cares about what somebody's doing in their personal life, what kind of dad. We don't know what kind of father he is. We don't know what kind of husband he is. We don't live in that house. We don't know.
So check this out, and then I'm gonna get to you, G. I see you up there. You're probably chomping at the bit. So let me say this, right? This whole hater thing. If I'm on the way to work every morning and I see somebody on the corner with a bottle of liquor, 8 o'clock in the morning getting drunk, and I say, every time I see that dude, he on the corner getting drunk, 8 o'clock in the morning, when I'm trying to go to work, right? If I point that out, does that make me a hater because that's a negative statement that happens to be true? Every time I see it, this is what I see, so I'm commenting on that. Does that make me a hater? No. So we got to stop this foolishness of telling the truth and being objective makes you a hater. This is the fact. And I'm going to use the line here. Shout out my son, Ben. If I don't act like LeBron walks on water, raises the dead, and heals the sick, I'm a hater. Like, that is absurd to me that we are so conditioned by the mainstream media to only hear that, oh, LeBron is so incredible. He's a great husband. He's a great father. He's a great basketball player. He's a genius. He opened a school. We're not even going to get into the school piece. That's a whole nother thing, and I'm not even going to go there. But the point is, if we weren't so conditioned to hear all of that, right, then people wouldn't be so up in arms when you point out the things that are not so great. And that just is what it is. And that's ridiculous.
I think the thing is, it comes off as hate, right? It comes off as hate because it's never talked about of a highlight that he does, or
there's plenty of people, but like James Harden, for instance,
talking about him, not talking about people.
I just want you to know that I have nothing positive about James Harden to say. Like, does that make me a hater? Yeah, James Harden, I have nothing positive to say about.
I thought you would read something. I'm sorry.
I have nothing positive to say about Russell Westbrook's game. That doesn't mean that I hate these people.
Right.
It's not personal. I just think that I don't appreciate their game. When a player
You're hating the game.
No, I'm hating their game. I'm not hating them as a person. That doesn't make me a hater. But hating how somebody plays and thinking that the way that they play is not good, it doesn't make me a hater. And I do want to address a comment because, yeah, I did call LeBron an Uncle Tom, and I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand on calling him an Uncle Tom because he decided that he was going to put JJ Redick in a position of power that he didn't deserve as well. So he decided that he was going to put a white guy in power when there were plenty of qualified Black coaches. So yeah, I do have a problem with that, but that was a business decision that I'm commenting on, not LeBron as a person.
He's had Black coaches hired. What do you mean?
It doesn't matter that he's had Black coaches hired. He just got one fired in favor of an inexperienced white coach when there were several Black coaches that were experienced, that grinded. They were an assistant coach. They won titles as a player and as a coach. There are
okay, but I don't think that's called being an Uncle Tom. That's just, hey, I'm being a buddy.
That's your opinion. I don't see it that way. I think when you make moves like that, when you go and do a podcast with a guy, then you put him on the team to be the coach, like that's an issue. And I think that's part of it. And when you're doing that to capitulate to, certain groups of people, that's what I believe. So
what happened with Ty Lue? Somebody beat me to it. Jesus.
Hold on a second, B. Hey, G, man, your thoughts, man. You've been quiet up there for a minute, man. Jump in.
LeBron,
I've been
hold on, Dominique. Hold on.
I've listened to the back and forth. It's kind of entertaining. One thing for certain, two things for sure. The ball don't lie, right? The ball does not lie. And so if you put a piss poor product of your son on and he's not ready, you put him out there, he's not ready. The ball does not lie. There's some guards out here that's going to terrorize this young man. And it's just going to continue to happen. And how you have folks, they can't watch to see him play. There's some sports analysts out here that's just waiting to tear him apart as soon as he steps on the field, on the court. And so, I mean, we can go back and forth about what Bronny is and what he's not. The thing that really is going to make or break him is how he defend and how he play against these tier 1 guards. Because at the end of the day, man, like you can fake. There's some things you can fake until you make it, but you might not be there long enough, man. I know the topic was supposed to be Bronny and Sarr. I think Sarr as a 7-footer, he's probably gonna he has time, right? Normally when you get a young 7-footer in, they put him on a weight gaining program, put him on a box. I don't think that's happening anymore. That might be just something from our era where you beefed up the big guys and you got them to play the low post and such. But that could just be why we all have these differences on what's happening with the LeBron James and Bronny. Like we used to players playing, and that's all they concentrated on was just playing the game of basketball and not like all this circus that's going on. Where
it's a reality show. We're watching the Kardashians play out in front of us.
Turn into a soap opera, man. Where you got other teams in the West, they nitty gritty right now. They
focusing on getting better and trying to win a chip. Absolutely,
get better, man.
Yeah.
So that's all I got on these two guys. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch Sarr as he develop. I think he's gonna be a hell of a defender at the low post, something that the league need. We don't see that a lot down. So if Bronny make it, good for him, man. Right?
Absolutely.
But everybody know the ball does not lie. Everybody knows that.
It never does. But can you tell me, Transformer, how LeBron helped out Kyrie, or did he come out against him? Uncle Tom.
No, that's the Jewish community.
That's an Uncle Tom. Yeah, no, when you come, he didn't have to say anything. But when you make a comment against Kyrie, when you fight to play in the bubble, when players wanted to sit out, these are Uncle Tom moves. So someone in the comments mentioned that, and I couldn't agree more. These are just a few examples of it. I'm sorry that off the top of my head, in the 22-year career that LeBron has had, it's just been so many instances where I would say that. So whatever is in his best interest to do, he doesn't care what racial implications it has. And so, again, I am going to stand by that.
All right, so Super Rock, man, I appreciate your comment right here. Stop assuming what a young man's career will be. And I get it, but all we can do, see, this is the thing, right? None of us can see the future. You're 100% correct on that. But at the end of the day, all we can do is go on what he had shown us up until the point of being drafted, and then what he had shown us in those first few games. And I don't know if you were here when this live started, but immediately we got into it, and all of us were all like, we all came out and immediately admitted Bronny's played well last game. He's played well tonight. And all of us, I think, to a person here on this panel, have said, we want Bronny to succeed. We are glad that Bronny is playing well. None of us, see, this is what happens when you're a LeBron fan.
You can't remember the positive thing. If someone says one positive thing, then it becomes, you've never said anything positive. And I just sat there and said how proud I was for Bronny because,
but I think that was an important game 95-5, when are we supposed to catch it?
No, man.
If it's 95-5, when are we supposed to catch it?
It was the first thing I said. Usually people remember the first thing and the last thing that you said, but it was the first thing that I said. I started off with that, and I typically do. I typically start off with something positive, and then I might get into what needs to be worked on. That's what I do at work, and that's what I'm going to do here too. So these are the things that I believe that LeBron needs to work on.
That's a fact. And Transform, we've talked about this topic ad nauseum, right? Yeah. And you can't tell me that I haven't said in every single instance we've discussed this, I don't have a problem with Bronny. I want the young man to succeed. Besides being a Laker, of course, as a Celtics fan, right? But you know how that is, right? But realistically, we want the young man to succeed. There you go. Nobody's hating him because what have I said? The league is better when the Lakers and the Celtics are both great, right? Yeah. And I have no problem with Bronny. My issue is how it came about. It's the same thing over and over, but it's, oh, you're a hater. You're a hater. Stop hating on the young man. You don't know what the young man going to do. And I've always said it's early. It's a very small sample size. He has an opportunity to grow. I think I even put a post in the community tab on YouTube where I said Bronny was drafted 55th. Manu Ginobili was drafted at 57th. Maybe there's hope. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we have to stop this business of if you don't worship somebody, you're hating. We have to stop this because what you do then is you tune out anything that they say that doesn't fit your narrative. We must stop that. But
I'm not
LeBron fans can't do that. They just can't. They're not wired that way.
Yeah, then it becomes that we hate our lives. We had miserable fathers, like all these crazy things. Like
I'm a bad father,
it's wild.
I'm envious and all this. I'm like, whoa, I'm mad at myself because I didn't do for my son what LeBron did for his. Whoa, where's all this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous. Young disciple.
Pam Brown. That's
Who am I
Pam
not
Brown.
to like how another man got drafted? My issue with it is this. I don't know if you've ever heard me like really break down this topic, but to keep it simple, my issue with it is this. Sports is generally supposed to be the last meritocracy that we have. You earn what you get in sports. And we all know that Bronny has never been the best player on any team he's been on. We know for a fact, because Tim Hardaway said it publicly, Tim Hardaway Sr., that LeBron James called the McDonald's All-America people to get Bronny James on that team. Bronny wasn't even first team All-State in California. We know LeBron, his father, called the McDonald's All-America people to get Bronny James on the All-America team. Right? He wasn't the best team. He wasn't the best player on USC. We know that too. And now miraculously, his agent says, "Hey, nobody try to draft Bronny or he's going to go to Australia." Nobody was worried about Bronny going to Australia. So we see all these maneuvers and machinations in place to try and get LeBron James Jr., Bronny, where they want him to be. So all of this is my issue of how it happened that way. So you're right. Maybe I'm nobody to not like how another grown man gets drafted. And side note, the young disciple, is he a grown man or is he a kid? Because I keep hearing he's just a kid. You can't go hard on him like that. No, did he? I keep hearing that, right? So is he a grown man or is he a kid? Let's pick one, right? Which one is it? Because as I understand it, there's been a lot of people who've been drafted at the same age as Bronny James, right? And we had no problem criticizing any of them. Oh, and then I hear, well, he's coming off a major cardiac incident last year. Absolutely. No question about it. Number one, clearly he's been cleared by the doctors, right? So we know all that. And secondly, if the cardiac issue was such a big thing, why are we putting this young man under all of this stress and putting him in one of the most physically demanding leagues in the world? I mean, it's
who
all
is
that.
Pam Brown to call us a hater? So I'm just like, I'm above no one. Like, I'm just like you. We're all here talking about our opinions, right? But who are we to talk about our opinion about where Bronny gets drafted? Who are we to give an opinion? I'm just a person. Right. I'm just a girl. I work out here in the Bay Area in California. I'm nobody, but who are you to call me a name, to call any of us haters for our opinion?
I guarantee you.
But you are calling names too, Uncle Tom.
Yeah, but the question that Pam Brown is asking us is who am I? And my name is Dominique. I live in California in the Bay Area. That's it. That's the person that I am. I'm nobody. I am a nobody. So it really shouldn't matter that I am saying these things. But of course, your cult leader, LeBron, you're so emotional about it. Right, everybody that's a LeBron fan, you love the man more than you love the actual game, the sport. You love LeBron more than you love your team.
That is a fact.
What happened to real sports culture? Like, I want to know, because growing up, you had to be a fan of your home team or whoever your dad liked. Those were the rules, and you don't change that team. You pick that one team and you stay with the team. You don't pick a player and have like crazy fandom and jump around with that player. Do you know, it's just crazy to me how insane fandom is. And
everybody's circumstance is different. Like for me, I started watching basketball. I'm born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, rose in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a Laker fan. Why? Because of who I saw coming up on the TV. Had nothing to do with my father, had nothing to do with my hometown. So I think people can become fans in multiple different facets. The first thing
you're a Laker fan, right?
Was Kobe Bryant, and I saw his last name was Bryant, and my name is Brian. So I'm like, oh, I like that guy. From that day forward, I was always a Laker fan. So anybody can become a fan in multiple ways.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though. But these LeBron fans love the man, the person that he is, and they don't know him. They don't lay next to him. They're not his kid.
So,
you know what I'm saying? That's all that I'm saying.
No, Brian.
But they don't talk about his game. When I sit there and say LeBron is not the GOAT, and this just happened last week on Man Down, I asked Eric to tell me, what is LeBron's bag? What's his signature move? Tell me. I'm waiting. What does he
has
do
no bag? He has no bag.
Okay.
He's probably the best, one of the best drivers of the basketball.
All I heard was that that an NBA player must have hurt me. That was the reply. These are the LeBron fan responses. He's a good father and husband. That's why he's the GOAT. I just want to hear about what he does well.
He opened the school, D. He opened the school.
He opened a school where the principal beat up a child.
They're delusional fans of every type of person. There are delusional Michael Jordan fans. There are delusional Kobe fans. I'm one. They're delusional LeBron fans, right? If you're only responding to the delusionals, like, give other people a shot. There are fans of LeBron, as I am, who will criticize LeBron, who will still talk bad about LeBron when he does wrong, and still in a fan of the game. But I think
that's
if you're
not
always
what I'm saying,
talking,
even in these discussions, though.
But if you're always talking to the delusional person, then it comes off like, damn, you always got something negative.
I'm sorry, Transformer, but you fit into that delusional category for me, just because when we were sitting here talking about basketball, you made it about LeBron being a father. You screamed out, not like we're all just sitting here talking, and you almost jumped out of your seat to talk about him being a father. Who cares? Who cares? He's a father. Like,
is he not? Can he not talk about his son?
Bro,
but like, what does it have to do with him being what does it have to do with anything? Bronny is not good. So when you do that, you're putting the pressure. It's just like it's literally like Caitlin Clark, how people hyped her up to say that she was the GOAT before she got to the WNBA.
Okay, that was ridiculous.
Like poop. So when you hype somebody up and then they don't live up to the hype, like LeBron was hyped up, he was called the chosen one, and he played like it. Caitlin Clark didn't do that. Bronny James isn't doing that. And they are hyping him up. They're saying he's 3-and-D and he went 0 for 12 or whatever he went. You know what I'm saying? So again, like,
I don't want to hijack the discussion, but Caitlin Clark she's getting
she's nice.
That's a different thing though.
She's nice.
She is. She's dead nice.
Like over the last.
She's dead nice, but she's a little overrated. Right now in the news, they're talking about her assists and that she's got record-breaking assists. But do people realize that she also has record-breaking turnovers?
Absolutely.
So she has historical numbers in turnovers. So at what point do people who really watch basketball, who really know the game, sit there and say, okay, well, teams are actually scoring on these turnovers. The assists and the turnovers, they kind of cancel each other out. It's not all that historical. I wouldn't want to brag that if I have all-time historical numbers in turnovers.
So the only thing I'll push back on that, and then we'll get back to the topic, is Magic Johnson, who I think is clearly the greatest passer, the greatest distributor, and greatest point guard of all time, led the league in turnovers in multiple seasons. So I get what you're saying, Dominique, but we always, for whatever reason, the turnovers generally don't get taken into account that much unless it's consistently costing your team games in big spots or whatever. But
I will push back on the turnover part. Do we really watch Caitlin Clark and how these folks are literally fumbling the great passes that she's making?
There's also a lot of
bad passes though.
There's that too.
She's throwing bad passes. That's what happens when you make a bad pass. Sometimes it's not going to get caught.
Go back and look at the highlights of some of the just these simple passes. And these girls, I almost said boys, these girls are literally fumbling good passes. If they hit you here, you're always taught if the ball hits you in the hands, you can catch it.
Yeah, that's football.
If the ball's hitting you in your chest pocket, why is it going over your head and you're fumbling and it going out of bounds? You know what I mean?
Really want to assert the fact that she's making great passes and her teammates are just missing them all the time. That's what we want to say.
I didn't say that. But let's not act like that's not a part of it. Let's not act like that's not a part of it.
It's not the main part of it. The turnovers are the turnovers. She has historical. She's also losing the ball. She's not handling the ball well sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of times, bad turnovers. Real quick, let's take a quick second here. If you're in the chat, appreciate y'all. Love the interaction y'all got going on. Please make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button on YouTube. We need that. Helps us. It helps the show, and we really appreciate it. All right, back to the topic. Let's move off of Caitlin Clark. That wasn't really the thing, and we can fall down that rabbit hole quickly. But yeah, back to the LeBron and Bronny thing. And I guess the original thing was supposed to be Alex Sarr, but that just shows you the gravity that LeBron James, I guess both of them now, that's the gravity that he has. Anytime you get into one of these topics, he can completely take it over. So
nobody knows who Sarr is, so what are we talking about, really?
Well, that's
talking about the number 2 pick. He's the number 2
overall pick. That's right. But you know what? To your point, that's why. To your point, that's why it's not a big deal, because a lot of people don't know a lot of people don't know who Sarr is. So I totally get it. But I think he's gonna be all right. But he's too in love with the three, and he got to be more.
I think G trying to say something, Bruce.
My bad, G. Go ahead.
I mean, just based off of the steam that he's getting right now, we probably gonna see him in a Lakers jersey starting, man. Like, and that's gonna be so unfortunate for him and his father's. Yeah, him and his father's brand, because now he has to own up to why he put his son in this position when he get torched every night.
No, he doesn't.
That's what.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he will. He will.
When has LeBron ever had to own up to anything?
He's definitely gonna have to own up to that.
He's gonna find a way to make it all right.
You know that, and I know that. As a father, right? They coming at your son the way they gonna come to him. And you know, all jokes aside, we just talking basketball. But you know how fans can get. Like if somebody's constantly coming at your son as a parent, you're gonna try to defend.
Oh, you in LA too? Well, they coming. Pause.
Yeah. So as a father, as a player, you're gonna try to protect your son. And he should have thought about that before he put his kid in that position. But he had to have him right there. He couldn't put him nowhere else, because then he was putting him. He had no protection out there. So it all boils back down to him not being where he's supposed to be. He's really supposed to be back at college, still developing. And his father put him in a position where he's probably gonna get destroyed night in and night out. And these analysts, they just gonna pick him apart. We're gonna talk about him. But he brings enough buzz to where it doesn't matter what he do on a basketball court, because he gonna fill seats.
So I don't think he's gonna get much starting time. I do believe the Lakers are going to attempt it, because they're all about the show and not about winning. So I do think that they're gonna try it, but I don't think it's gonna last very long.
He doesn't deserve it. I'll say that. I know he doesn't.
No question about that.
Everybody knows he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying, because of all the buzz, it's gonna fill seats. They're not gonna compete this year, man. Like, it's the West is just too thick. But it'll be a nice sideshow that the fans can look at and have a storyline, like we talked about before, of him passing the ball over to his son. Now, 2-3 years, maybe he'll come around. I don't know. I can't see the future, but right now, Shorty don't belong in the league right now. But because he had that buzz, like he said, I don't even know who the number 2 pick was. Sarr, number 2 pick. And number 2, not saying there's no such things as bust, right? Yeah, we can't say that, but he is the center of all attention when it comes to NBA right now. Just it. I mean, you probably can't name off the top of your head, name 7 other players that was in that draft, right? And their stat line. But we can tell you that, like, Bronny's not doing anything. He's 0 for, what was it, 15 or something like that? Was it 0 for 15?
I think he had a pretty rough start. I think he started
0 for 12.
Oh, you're talking about from 3?
Yeah. But the last 2 games, again, the last 2 games, I'm fair. He's playing better,
Pretty tough start, man. He had a pretty tough start, but.
But like I said, there's gonna be peaks and valleys in folks' games. We're witnessing it now.
That's true too.
Sarr is literally doing the polar opposite of what Bronny's doing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right.
And again, the summer, I think Paul Pierce played poorly in summer league. Like, plenty of people play poorly in summer league, So I don't think that these games are going to be a true look at what Bronny's going to do in the NBA when he gets some meaningful minutes with the Lakers.
Yeah, it's glorified pickup ball. That's literally what the summer league is. Glorified pickup game. It's
for the G Leaguers to try to earn a spot. It's for guys to try to earn their spot on a team. They're fighting for contracts. Bronny is out there just trying to shine for the media. He's trying to get favorable media attention. He's not fighting for a contract like a lot of these other gentlemen are. So, I just think summer league is not going to be a true testament to anybody's game. But, the guys that are out there fighting for a spot, I'm sure they're trying to make sure that they make an example out of Bronny. Like, hey, I deserve this spot. I need to be here. They're going to play really well against him because they have a lot to prove and a lot to lose.
And those are going to be the highlights.
Hold on, let me back up.
They're going to get that attention.
Let me back up for one comment. I think it was Tom. Put that.
This one here?
Yeah, that one right there.
All right.
We are all sports.
I was going to let that one live. Go ahead, bro.
No. We got to talk about this, man. We got to talk about
this. Just so you know, that's really Pam Brown.
Their
name is Pam Brown, and they have a bunch of different monikers.
Oh, my gosh. So Bronny has the perfect person to get advice from, someone who's been through it. True, right? Absolutely true. That's not going to save him, though. That's not going to save him from these tier 1 guards who's going to tear in his ass night in and night out. It's easy work for a lot of people. It's easy work for a lot of people, man. And we just talk. I'm just keeping it a buck, and we just talking about basketball.
Right.
Talking about nothing else. I'm talking to a clown. All right, there it is.
But that's Cam Brown. We have. Troll. It's yeah.
So here's the deal, right? I'm not going to be rude or disrespectful or anything like that. But the question you're asking, what are we talking about? Does it look like LeBron needs our advice? No, clearly not. LeBron has been uber successful, or whatever the next level of uber successful is, right? Bronny has a perfect person to get advice from, someone who's been through it. Did anyone say that he's not the perfect person to give his son advice? Nobody said that. Where is this coming from? See, this is what we talk about. Why is it that you people, and when I say you people, I mean the LeBronites. I would call y'all something else, but I don't know how that goes. But you people who are the LeBron fans, why do y'all feel that y'all need to put on the cape and jump to this dude's defense, right? The only thing that will stop y'all from acting the way you do is kryptonite. It is insane how y'all feel y'all need to put this cape on and jump in front of bullets and whatever for LeBron. I don't know if y'all familiar with the Dreamers Pro Show, pretty decent. I mean, this dude literally got death threats from some LeBron fan because he took LeBron out of his top 5 all-time players. This is how you people behave. But when we say something, we're haters. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. So, like, I don't understand the anger and the aggression and all of that when people say anything that you don't like when it comes to LeBron James. This is kind of what we talk about. And real talk, a lot of people would have less issue with LeBron if his fan base wasn't acting like this. We've never seen anything like this. Jordan fans don't act like this. Kobe fans don't act like this.
Well, let's be honest, it wasn't social media back then, so let's not dig too heavy into that.
Who are we even talking about now, though? We're even talking about now. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? All right. Super Rock, you had another comment I wanted to touch on. Our culture isn't accustomed to generational wealth, position, or power. This panel has the same problem. I hate when people try to bring that up and play that.
What does he mean by that?
I absolutely love this comment. I love it, Bruce.
I think it's absurd because the fact is this.
I adore it.
I'm gonna keep it simple, because when the people who are in power, which are generally people who don't look like us, let's keep it 100, right? When those people are in power and they make moves like this, we, not me, are the same ones complaining. So if you're complaining when they do it, what makes it all right when we do it? Is it because somebody with brown skin does it, suddenly it's okay? Either it's wrong or it's right. Plain and simple. It doesn't change because a black person does it. I remember right after the draft, I think it was either on Get Up or First Take or something like that. And I think it was Jay Williams, and they were talking about it. And he actually said, well, shouldn't we be happy that a black person is able to do this? And I'm like, wait, what? If you complain about somebody else doing it, it doesn't make it any more right because you can do it now. If I complain that I just got robbed, it doesn't make it right for me to go rob somebody else. Like, this is absurd. We got to stop this. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
If you can't beat them, join them. If you can't beat them, join them. But if I'm seeing you guys prosper and thrive on this same thing that I've been complaining about, and I see no change, eventually it's like, okay, pump it.
Great point.
It's time for my culture to do it too. If you guys are getting away with it, if you guys are comfortable and we're providing no solution on why this is a problem, and we're voicing it's a problem, bump it, join them. If I get in that position of power, I am now going to be the one that brings my people on. I'm the one that's going to bring my culture on. I'm going to be the one that's keeping my people thriving, because I've witnessed you guys do it for centuries. So guess what? I now have that platform, and I have that opportunity. Oh, I'm going to use it now because I was complaining all these years. Nobody cared. Okay, guess what? My turn.
Well, can you
why not use it to find the next LeBron, though? So that's my problem with that statement is, our culture is not used to generational wealth. Exactly. Sports, we dominate. Black people dominate in every single sport. The very best athletes are Black in every sport. Okay. And so when you have that, that's why we join leagues like the NBA and the NFL. That's to create generational wealth for our families. So that guy that even sits at the end of the bench with the kind of contracts that you can command in the NBA, that's a person that missed an opportunity to create generational wealth for their family. If LeBron took an opportunity away from somebody who was white in a predominantly white, industry or sport, no problem. You wouldn't be hearing anybody talk about this. The problem is that he victimized his own community because we are the best athletes in basketball. Us.
Because he brought his son on?
Yes. Michael Jordan, when he was retiring, I'll never forget this. He could have went to the Lakers. I remember he could have went to the Lakers to play with Kobe Bryant and won another ring, maybe another 2-3 rings in a row. Like, how would we have been able to deny him? Another 3-peat from Michael Jordan? He was able to do that. But do you want to know why he didn't do that? Does anybody remember on this panel why he didn't go to the Lakers?
I don't. Go ahead.
So it wasn't about joining up with Kobe. It wasn't about, it was about taking away his shine. He recognized that Kobe was the next. He was the next. He was the guy that he was passing the torch to. And so LeBron doesn't want to pass the torch. He wants everybody to continue talking about him in year 22, when he should be, preparing for his goodbye tour. Okay. Because everybody right now is talking about Bronny, whether he's good or bad. We're still going to talk about LeBron by extension. Okay. And that's the problem, is that another one of us lost an opportunity to create generational wealth for their family. LeBron has already had generational wealth since his very first contract in the league. Before he even got to the NBA, he had generational wealth with a $100 million contract with Nike. So people need to miss me with the generational wealth. Bronny has generational wealth from his NIL deal before he got to the NFL, NBA. So people need to miss me with this ridiculousness. LeBron took a spot from a black kid who needed it, who deserved it, who might be where you're from, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a place where I've never been. Okay, that doesn't.
You don't want to go there. It's not English.
I believe you. I believe you. I'm from New York City. Okay, where we have some of the best talent, some of the best ballers. Okay, I've been to Dykeman. I've watched those games. Okay, and you got to be there, and you got to see the talent and how many people don't make it. And LeBron took some kid. LeBron was that kid. Imagine if somebody took his spot.
So real quick, Dominique, I'll say this. Young Disciple makes a good point when he said we don't know that pick would have been a black dude. Now, what is it? 70% of the NBA is black. So the odds say the percentages are there that it probably would have been, but it's fair to say that we don't know that's the case.
I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to say that.
It has to be. You have to put that in there.
I don't think it's fair to say when the majority of the league is black, it's not fair to say that. When the best player on USC didn't get drafted, when Amari Bailey, he's fighting his way into the league right now. He was way better than Bronny in high school and in college.
That's true.
He was a star. So there are literally black guys that are fighting their way into the league right now that can't get a spot because Bronny is there, because Thanasis is there. And all of these things are wrong. And honestly, I don't have a problem with Bronny being there. That's not even what I'm saying. It's just these points that we're making are ridiculous, and attacking anybody who's black for saying like, hey, Bronny doesn't deserve his spot there. Hey, somebody else should have it. That's okay to say. Two things can be true. I'm not mad that Bronny's in the league. We all knew this was going to happen. It's the spectacle around it. It's the fact that we're saying he's going to grow into a 3-and-D player. It's the fact that we're going to say that this is the best thing that ever happened in history of basketball, instead of the fact that people should be winning titles. That's what you play a sport for, is to win. You don't play a sport to see a father and son duo who suck on the floor. That's not what I watch it for. I don't want to watch bricks because that's history. I want to watch a historical duo of bricks. Make that
now we back on predictions though. We're doing predicting. Who knows? He could be a 35% 3-point shooter. Who knows? We got to let the game develop.
He wasn't in any area though. So guys who can shoot, they typically can shoot in high school and college. You don't become a shooter. You know what actually happens? You want to know what actually happens? You lose your shot. Who have we seen? Who have we seen develop into a shooter that wasn't a shooter in high school and college? Tell me.
His father just did?
Nah, he's
What?
not a shooter.
LeBron
After
is not a shooter.
21, after
He
21
got
years.
40% from three last year. That's not.
Oh
That
my
that
God.
doesn't make
22,
him.
that's what you want to really sit here and say? Come on, name
That doesn't
somebody
make him
else.
a shooter. No.
Name
He
somebody
shot
else. Give
better
me a
last year. He
qualified
is not
shooter
a
who was
shooter.
bad in high school, bad in college. I want you to tell me.
Well, I couldn't hear you because Bruce was still talking. What'd you say?
Just, even look it up. Who was bad in high school and college that became a great three-point shooter? That could not shoot the rock. They shot bricks in high school. They shot bricks in college.
That's not bad.
People want to sit there and say Kobe developed as a shooter. Nobody thought that he couldn't shoot. That was never a narrative. I never said Kobe Bryant can't shoot the rock.
You can learn how to shoot the ball. Jason Kidd learned how to shoot the ball. LeBron came in the league
learn how to shoot
29% from three. 29% from three. He came into the league shooting 29% from three. Now he's shooting 40%, 38, 37. Come on, man. People can learn, bro. Let's not act like folks can't develop.
You can improve.
We're being bogus right now. We're being bogus.
You can improve, but you can't become a shooter. And plus,
I didn't say shooter. He can learn how to.
We also got to stop, man. It took LeBron 20 years to get to this point, man.
There's a difference between learning how to shoot and being a shooter. There is a difference in what I said. So let's not put words in my mouth. I said learn how to shoot.
Okay, but what they're saying, the narratives are largely is that he's going to develop into a 3-and-D player.
But
that's what they're saying.
That's what I'm saying. You guys are taking somebody else's words and you're putting them in my mouth.
I didn't do that. I never said you said that. You said that he was going to develop. That's what you said. You said
I said he can. I said I didn't say he was going to develop. Again, you're putting words in my mouth. I said he could develop. I said he could develop
into 3-and-D.
We don't know. I don't have a crystal ball saying that he could freaking grow to be something that we haven't seen yet.
So Bronny can be a unicorn is what you're saying. That's your stance. He can be. So he can be a unicorn. We've never seen another player in all of NBA history develop into a 3-and-D. We only see 3-and-D guys who are 6'5" and above. But we're saying that Bronny, 6'1",
3-and-D. I said develop a shot. You're putting words in my mouth.
That looks like Jokic leaning back. It almost looks like Nikola Jokic.
You're putting words in my mouth. Got it. Go ahead.
Hold on.
You're putting words in my mouth.
Real quick, young disciple. Good point. You're right. LeBron did have a 40% season shooting from three in Miami, but we're talking about on the whole for most of his career, he's been a lousy shooter from three. And so when we say it took 20 years, we're saying it took 20 years for him to have something of a reliable 3-point shot. In Miami, nobody was going to rely or count on him making the three, but
he wouldn't rely on himself.
No.
He wouldn't rely on himself.
Bronny is not LeBron.
40% from three.
Bronny is not LeBron.
And Dominique, let me push back a little bit. Drew Holiday, what's he? 6'3", 6'4". Derek White, 6'4". Both of these are smaller 3-and-D guys. So
did they develop into that though? Because Drew Holiday was a star. He was a superstar in high school and college. So we're talking, but all I'm saying is that Derek White, Kyrie Irving, there's plenty of small guards that were amazing players. We have Allen Iverson. I'm not saying that because Bronny's small, he can't play. I'm saying when you weren't a superstar or even somewhat of a star, he couldn't score the ball in high school or college. So how is he going to develop into 3-and-D in the NBA? So you're saying that he couldn't do it at all those lower levels, but at the highest level, the highest level of competition, he's going to develop into 3-and-D. LeBron James has always been his dad. He's always had the best resources, the best coaches, the best food to eat, the best whatever resources. He couldn't develop into it younger. He couldn't develop into it any of these years, but right now in a Lakers uniform, he's going to develop into 3-and-D. He can. That's what we want to say. We're calling him a unicorn.
That's not what I said, but go ahead. I'm going to let you finish.
You said he can. You just told me that he can develop into that.
I want you to go back and listen to the video once again. I never said nothing about 3-and-D.
So let's keep this.
I said he could develop a shot.
Let's keep this simple.
He can learn how to shoot. That's
because
all I said.
Because none of us can see the future. We cannot definitively say that he can't become that. Let's leave it there.
That's my point, Bruce.
We can go round and round on this all night long.
That's my point. That is my point. We don't know what he can or cannot develop. So, he could develop a shot.
Just gotta wait and see. But let's do this, y'all. Let's do this. Voyant Studio, what's good? Real quick, if you're in the chat, you haven't already, please go ahead, click that like and subscribe. Definitely need those likes. If you haven't, go ahead and do that, please. Now, next up, let's go ahead, because we could argue this stuff all night. Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. Let's talk a little bit of, when you call in, if you want to call in and give your thoughts on the difference between the coverage with Bronny and Alexandre Sarr. I think we pretty much hit that.
The lack of coverage for Sarr.
Right. But maybe somebody can present a different angle on that we hadn't touched on. So if you want to bring that up, and then honestly, obviously we got a lot of heat and a lot of different opinions on Bronny and his possible future and how he came into the league and all of that, and his dad and all that. So go ahead, give us a call, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. We waiting on you. Go ahead, give us a call. Let's hear what you got to say, but let's also keep it respectful. All right, let's do it. What other comments we got?
While we were waiting, yes. Don't forget to hit that likes button. All right, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to post it on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever social media platform that you guys use. We welcome all views, all viewers. All right, we love you guys. This is all debate. There's never nothing personal. The only person I know in person is Bruce, big baritone Bruce. He knows his name. But again, this is all conversation, speculation, debate. We don't do hate, guys. We don't do hate. We can agree to disagree, and we can continue about our day, and we move on to the next topic.
We got Nino. Let's get it. Nino, what's up, man?
Hey, it's on fire tonight, ain't it?
It's on fire tonight. What's good, Nino?
Man, y'all know. I mean, we all know why the lack of coverage just all here, man. The last name James, man.
We do.
Look, we gotta. I think I don't know how to understand everybody's point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, I do think our community is not used to power. Now, where everybody wants to debate, I don't know if that means people hate on the power, but I don't think we're used to people. I think when our people get to a certain position, it always seems like it's a conspiracy. I'm gonna take Bron for example, but then I'm gonna use MJ. People hate on MJ. I mean, just, the time done passed. Then you look at Stephen A. Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was coming through the ranks, everybody was, oh, this the best. Stephen A. Smith the best. As soon as they found out he was had some pull over there at first take, man, it's been a lot of criticism. So all I think it is the last name James got everybody stirred up. We want to see what Bronny's son. We want to see what Bron's son can do.
That's a fact.
It's all about Bron. So
it's definitely all about Bron.
He's the biggest draw in basketball. I mean, we're shocked. We're not.
I think people. That's right. I think people ain't used to this kind of weight. I think people used to. And then I'm gonna take it a little further, a little deeper. I don't think our people. I think our people has been going about it the wrong way. People say Bron all about business. Well, it's a lot of players done went broke. What's the guy that's calling Bron out now? Lenny Cook or what's your name?
Kwame Brown.
He's supposed to be the LeBron. No, Kwame, he too, but he was. He played against Bron in high school.
Lenny Cook, yeah, Lenny Cook.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Right?
You're talking about high school.
So he is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Why you didn't take care? Why was you doing drugs? Why you didn't take care of your business when you had the opportunity?
No, you're right.
So when I think people say, now we don't know what Bron's doing behind closed doors. So I think when people see Bron's team, all his childhood friends come up, they rich. His mama and daddy don't hate him. Well, his daddy, that's a different story. That's a hood story. His mama rich, he don't hate him. His kids black. They ain't used to seeing this. We not used to seeing this. So I think that's a reason why most people root for him. Now some people like Bruce, keep it straight basketball, his skills, that's debatable all day. But when it comes to the deeper subject, I don't think we used to seeing it, man. I think it's a problem for people. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, that's the social media world we live in.
Right.
I work in all field, and I promise you, them other folks, now I ain't got no problem with it. They don't just go by the hardest work out there.
Right.
Hey, cause I'm out there working 2 times harder, and I see it. Like, hey man, this position up, I'm up for this position. Some type of way, they nephew get in the position, and they don't own the company. So I'm all for it.
And I hear I hear what you're saying, Nino, and I don't disagree, man. Thanks so much for the call. But the fact is, and this is my issue, and I guess I'm just gonna continue to be wrong on this, and it is what it is. But sports is supposed to be the meritocracy. Now I understand it's a business, and I understand there's a lot of money involved, so we got to take that into account always. But it's supposed to be a meritocracy where you go out there and you show what you can do, and you are rewarded for what you can do. And now we got all this other stuff getting involved, and that's the problem for me. Maybe I'm naive, and I want sports to be what it was supposed to be, and it'll probably never be that again. I can acknowledge that, but at least at the lower levels, just in terms of getting into the league and getting your shot, that's what it's supposed to be.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with them facts. But I don't think that. I mean, you got to find the balance, but I don't think the balance is there. I'll give you an example. Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, my example. Everything Tom Brady did for New England, you would think they say, "Hey, man, we're gonna have to sacrifice a couple years." Brady, if anybody deserves to ride it out, we're gonna ride it out.
Hold on, Mel. I see you. Hold on, Mel. Yeah, go.
What about Isaiah Thomas when he got hurt? Did they say, "Hey, man, you did come play when your sister died and you came back try to play her"?
Right.
We're gonna look out for you a little bit.
Nope, they did him dirty and got him up out of there.
Want to see it. Yeah, I think Bron was like, "Hold on, this is an opportunity." And then now we see more people starting to look out for their brain, starting to be smart, except for Jalen Brunson. I don't know what that was about, Jalen Brunson.
Oh, that. All right, we can talk about that. Actually, I think you missed it when I talked about that a couple days ago.
I talked about the last one. Yeah.
I think I was listening.
Okay.
We don't know what that was about. But
right.
I'm thinking we've been looking at it wrong the whole time as fans. And I think players done caught up to the G. That's my thing.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for the call, Nino, man. I appreciate you.
The Lenny Cook situation. Does anybody actually remember what happened with Lenny Cook and how he wasn't allowed to play?
That was crazy.
At Summer League because he was about to cook LeBron. He was playing well and literally couldn't wait to face LeBron in the Summer League.
Mm-hmm.
So,
matter of fact, here goes Mel Dominique. He's probably going to talk on that. Let's.
Oh, Mel is here. Yep, he's going to tell that story because it's really good.
Yeah, Mel, what's going on, brother? Thank you for calling in, man.
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Doing all right. Hey, real quick before you start. Hey, if y'all love great sports talk, here's another one. Man Down Sports. Go YouTube, Man Down Sports. Make sure you subscribe to that. That is a fantastic channel. Mel's a great dude. He's helped me a lot with my work and my channel, and his stuff is fantastic. So make sure you go subscribe to Man Down Sports. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Yeah,
no doubt, brother.
I mean, I think I wanted to touch on two things. One, the difference between Alex Sarr and Bronny James. I think it's obvious because I think what people, that has been critical of what's going on with Bronny or around Bronny, I'm not even going to say Bronny, but around Bronny, has been the fact that it started from overhyping, from LeBron James. He did send that tweet out saying that he was better than a lot of the NBA players, and I think that's a little disrespectful. It's very disrespectful.
Yes,
to be exact, right? So it's the same thing, man. The overhype from Caitlin Clark that everybody was getting that started people that was going to be playing against her wanting to get a piece of her every time they got a chance. You know what I'm saying? They was playing physical, all that stuff, right? So I think that's what people are pushing back on. Like, come on, you hyping this guy up, and then the media tried to back it up when he was kind of climbing up the draft board where he really wasn't doing nothing to climb up it. Everybody was calling it out, right? And you had Mark Spears come on there and say, "Hey man, he talked to 2 scouts that said he wasn't ready," right? But then you had a lot of media plants on ESPN trying to negate that and trying to say something opposite. And that's what all the pushback. This is just pushback. There was no such media hype job for Alex Sarr. As a matter of fact, nobody even really knew who Alex Sarr was. And when we started looking him up, we started to see how the hell is he going to be the number 1 pick. So no one ever even was hyping this guy up.
Right.
Right. It's just a weak draft that he went number 1 in. right? So you're not going to get pushback. Now, if someone was hyping Alex Sarr up, then you get more pushback from people saying the media is lying, because people have a problem with mainstream media, period. So when mainstream media start lying to people, everyone's going to push back. Everyone who has a platform is going to push back. Everyone who debates sports is going to push back, because we don't like hype jobs. We don't like the public to be lied to, and we want to set the record straight. So that's number one. That's the difference between him and Alex Sarr. Now, the second point to what the caller before me was talking about is something that shouldn't even be talked about. Like, no one is trying to have a conversation about who's black, who's the blackest, who's helping the black. Nobody's even thinking about that. That's that's not even a real conversation. The conversation is you hype someone up, and that person don't deserve the hype that you're giving him, and we're going to set the record straight. That's it. Nobody cares about black this and black that. Nobody, because when go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, my bad. Sorry to cut you. Nobody should, but anytime you criticize, unfortunately, or anytime you're critical of a black person that has a certain level of success, automatically you become less black and you hating on another black man and this and that. And trust me, I can tell you this because I know personally. You know, you and I have talked offline, and you've seen and heard some of the ridiculous stuff that some of these people tell me. And it's you know, it's amazing. Suddenly, I mean, I'm looking at myself and I think I'm black, but you know, according to some of these people, I'm not, because I have the nerve, as Stephen A says, the temerity, the unmitigated gall, you know, to criticize another black man who is wealthy and successful. So apparently I wake up every morning looking for reasons to hate on another black person. So there are a lot of black people, unfortunately, who think that way, that because we're all black, you can't criticize it. And that is just absurd. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I can't get that no energy, because I know that they don't really mean that. I know they're only saying that because of their love for LeBron James, and they would say anything to defend him, right? So the black card is just one of the things that say, you know, the fact that Bronny was a 55th pick is another thing that would say. The fact that he's a 19-year-old quote-unquote kid is another thing to say. So there's so many different shields they'll use, and they know they were real. They all straw man argument. I wouldn't even engage in it once I heard them start bringing it up, man.
Right.
The topic of the discussion never gets discussed. They always just put up deflections because they want to shield Bronny or LeBron from any critique. Right. So I mean, I can't be real with a person when you're critiquing basketball and they tell you you're not supposed to do it because Bronny and LeBron are black.
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, listen,
yeah, but I want to hear from the Transformer before I get off the phone, though. What's your thoughts to that, Transformer?
Oh, my bad. I made a mistake and clicked on the chat button. I saw something pop up. Okay, what was the question, brother?
Well, I mean, what's your thoughts to what I just said?
About the way people critique and try to point the blame on something else, on what the Bronny conversation?
Yeah, the fact that the people who bring up the blackness, like the caller that just got off the phone, don't really care about blackness. They just only care about defending LeBron.
I disagree with it. I truly disagree with it. To me, when you got to bring race into a conversation like this, you got nothing else to talk about. You're literally running out of ammunition. You don't want to keep it sports. You don't want to keep it in between the lines. Once you got, unless you're saying something racial about, okay, let's say, Bron only likes to hire white coaches.
You do agree with me then? Well, that means you agree with me. Okay.
I agree with the race part. You know what I mean? Like from the racial standpoint, like if you're bringing race involved into it, then like what exactly are we talking about? Now we just turn into a whole another conversation that's not in between the lines. Me personally, I love to keep the conversation in between the lines. When we want to start talking narrative and politicking, that's a little different for me.
Take it a step further though. Not only race, 55th pick. If you say that, you have nothing else to say, because that's not the topic either.
Well, I think for me personally, I think people overblown. We're missing two conceptions here. All right, the fact that Bronny is the 55th pick, nobody ever cared about the 55th pick, but we also forget who that 55th pick is. His last name is LeBron James Jr. I mean, his name is LeBron James Jr. So he's going to be talked about regardless. And I think the way that it's being blown and the media is blowing it up, is because of LeBron. I agree with that point. We're only talking about the 55th pick because of LeBron. He only got drafted because his father is LeBron James. So the fact that we're talking about it, I think it has a lot of multitudes to do with a lot of different things that add to more blow up. One, you get more clicks. One is something to talk about. One, we're keeping LeBron James in conversation. Everybody thinks that, oh, the LeBron media wants to keep LeBron in conversation. No, he's the biggest draw in basketball. They're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about it. The biggest money grab in basketball is LeBron James. So guess what? He has an offering.
Don't forget what Clutch is doing. So keep that in mind. It's not just that he's the biggest draw.
I think we're missing something though.
What's that?
At one point, Michael Jordan was the biggest draw, and his sons was playing at Illinois, right?
And then UCF.
The difference between those is there was no hype job. As soon as we found out Marcus Jordan was not not going to be an elite basketball player at the college level or the pro level, as soon as we found that out, it was over. We didn't get Michael Jordan coming out and publicly saying my son is better than these dudes I'm watching on League Pass or these dudes I'm watching right now. He didn't hype his son up. If he would have hyped his son up, then he would have got the same pushback that Bronny and LeBron is getting right now. It was the hype.
I disagree because he didn't play in a social media era. We'd have been reading that in the newspaper. Nobody cares about that.
But real quick, Transform. Remember, he tried to get his son on North Carolina, and Roy Williams told him no. You don't think if Michael Jordan wanted that to happen, it could have happened? It would have happened. But he's not wired like that. Mel, let me go ahead. Let me take this other call, man. I appreciate you calling in.
I appreciate you, Mel, man. Good conversation.
Thanks, all right, no problem.
All right.
Thanks, Mel.
Good conversation, man. Good conversation.
Area code 317. I see you. Go ahead, call back. Sorry, I didn't get you in time. MJ didn't have the power in the NBA that Bron had? What? Okay, wow. I'm not even gonna. Area code 317. I saw you. Go ahead, call back. Jakari, I see you. Call back when you get a chance. If I don't answer you right away,
Rivers had the power. It's so funny. So MJ didn't have the power, but Doc Rivers had the power to just put his son on the Clippers. That's hilarious to me.
Come on, man. Come on.
Michael Jordan didn't have the power, but Doc Rivers had it, and multiple other guys that have just, helped their son into the league didn't have it. Cool.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about how, Doc Rivers took somebody's food off of the table by putting his son in?
His son was a number 10 draft pick who was an All-American at Duke. Stop it.
Austin Rivers could ball.
Area code 317.
I will say that he shouldn't have made it he should have been out of the league by the time he was on the Clippers.
He should have been out of the league. What'd you say?
Hey, hold on. We got a call, y'all. Hold on.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Go ahead.
All right, Lamont, what's going on, brother? Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. What you got?
So, like especially with the last caller, man. And I hear so many things where people try to say stuff and sound like they informed, but I know they not. I'm a college coach. I went and scouted not just Bronny, also Bryce. I've been saying, and we'll start it like this. I've been saying on my podcast for the last year that Bronny does not look NBA ready.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the NBA, they've always drafted players based on what you project to be, not who you are in the moment.
Okay.
You can, just like with A.J. Johnson, who got drafted in the first round, only averaged 2.9 points per game, but he was a first-round pick.
Okay.
The number 10 pick of the draft, Nikola Topic, had a torn ACL, wasn't even playing basketball. Still got drafted in the lottery. These guys get drafted solely on what they are projected to be, not who they are in the moment. Even you can look at Peyton Watson for the Denver Nuggets. Averaged like 4 points a game in college. Gets drafted to the Nuggets in the playoff rotation because he got drafted on what they thought he could be. So when you look at Bronny, what he said that the media was trying to hype up Bronny's or inflate his draft stock. That's not true, because before his cardiac arrest, they had Bronny going in the first round. As the season progressed at USC, his draft stock fell. And then by the time the draft started, he was projected to get drafted at 56. No one was trying to elevate his draft stock. His draft stock had plummeted already. So that's made up when people say that. ESPN was very honest about who he was. All these networks, you couldn't hide it because the film was out there. So he was always projected to go in the second round. It was just a matter of if the Lakers drafted him or if they signed him on a
undrafted
contract to just get him on the team.
So, Coach, first of all, I appreciate you giving that insight from an angle that we obviously aren't privy to. You doing what you're doing, and I appreciate the fact that you said that you scouted both of the James boys. So that's cool. So you're giving us an angle that we didn't have access to. So that's good. But let me ask you, maybe you are keeping it honest, but how many people, both in the media and in the coaching fraternity and in the scouting fraternity, do you think are keeping it 100% honest in that if his name was Bronny Williams or Bronny Jackson, we would get the same kind of evaluation on this guy? You don't think there's anything to do with it? The fact that his name is LeBron James Jr. and that, his dad pushed things and his dad kind of, worked some things behind the scenes. You don't think there's anything to do with that?
Even let's just say, so the thing is, in coaching, and at least for me, kids of pros just tend to be better players, just as far as like the IQ, right? We can go across the board. Like even with me and the team I coach, you talk about, everybody knows Dudley, who got dunked on by Shaq. His son looked like for a time period, looked like a complete bum. Brought him over to me. Wasn't really that good of a player, but this is the son of an NBA player. I got to try it out. And he's 7 feet tall.
Okay.
Turned out to be one of the best players we ever had.
Okay.
And it's just like, the one thing I've seen is sons of pros, kids of pros, just are better at the game. So that's just something you can always predict. So if you're the son of a pro, you're automatically going to get elevated over. If you got two players that are equal, well, if he's the son of a pro, I might give him an extra bump. They just generally turn out to be better players, at least in my experience. When you talk about Jordan's kids, Jordan's son was getting super hyped. I had never seen more UCF games on ESPN.
That's true.
You talk when he was at Illinois, they was trying to hype him up. So the lies that he said they was hyping him up. He was talking about how he was the number 60th guard coming out of Illinois at Whitney Young. They was hyping him up. And the only reason why we didn't get to see none of his sons as pros is because both of them quit college basketball before they could even get drafted. They quit. And sometimes that happens. You get burnt out on the sport. And it happens. So I'm not knocking them, but I guarantee you, just like in this year, Larry Nance, his son didn't get drafted, but he made sure he got an opportunity with the Cavs. Eddie House, his son didn't get drafted, but you know what he did? He used his connection with the Celtics, made sure his son was on the Celtics summer league team, right? When you look at the Phoenix Suns drafted a guy that wasn't even projected to get drafted. They drafted the godson of the GM, a kid out here from in Arizona. He wasn't even projected. So it's all over the place. Sometimes they draft kids to do favors here and there. It's happened almost every year in the draft. Sometimes there's China's asked for favors, and they drafted players out of China just to do China favors. Look at the 2007 draft when you had two guys getting drafted.
Favors happen all the time, but let's be real. Bronny wasn't a 19th prospect. So his senior year, he started out as being ranked 55, and then he moved up to 45, and then 1 week later, he moved up to 19. He wasn't that wasn't real. So, there is... Like there are people
and we know
that are literally on the clutch.
Real quick, Coach.
So say that one more time.
So what I'm saying is that I don't believe that Bronny was actually a 19th. Like he was ranked 19th. That's what people, are saying. I know that we saw that in his senior year, but he really wasn't. Literally 1 week before they came out saying that he was ranked 19th, he was ranked number 45. So, and yes, we know that nepotism happens though, but we know that nepotism happens. We know that it happens across the league. We're just saying that it's different in this case.
Let's explain the rankings. Okay. So you are right. In one ranking, Max Preps, you are right. but in the ESPN ranking. So you're looking at
who's owned by Clutch. Do you know that so many ESPN
hold
guys
on,
payroll?
Hold on. So what people did was, and if you go off one particular ranking, because in the Max Prep ranking that had them in the top 50 players, they kept them there. The ESPN ranking had always had them in the same spot.
ESPN Media works for Clutch. Multiple guys who work at ESPN on the Clutch payroll. That's all that I'm saying.
Just go back to what you said about the rankings.
Who else ranked him a top prospect? Who else?
Okay, so first of all, when you watch what he did in high school, he averaged 14 a game at the top program in the country, Sierra Canyon.
Did he average 14 a game when Amari Bailey was there?
Or did he
average 14 in his senior year and then got cooked by Masterpiece Sun?
Let's correct you, because when he went to Sierra Canyon, the most stacked high school team in the country, it's a pecking order there. And when his senior year came and it was his time to be at the top of the pecking order,
who was the star his senior year? Who was the star at Sierra Canyon as a senior? Who was the star next?
When you go to a powerhouse school like Sierra Canyon, and
who was the powerhouse when Bronny was a senior? Who was the powerhouse? Who was the better
powerhouse? Somebody finish first.
Who was the powerhouse?
Hold on. I'll let you talk, but I'm just talking first you talked about two different rankings. Max Preps that had him at 50 and ESPN, and you tried to combine the two.
The guy that's not paid by LeBron ranked at 55.
You don't understand them.
I do understand them.
No, hold on, Dominic. Hold on.
We gotta let each other talk.
Finish. Hold on, Dominic. Hold on.
We gotta let each other talk, guys.
Go ahead, Coach. Hold on. Go ahead, Coach.
All I'm saying is, y'all just go follow the rankings. The rankings are generally very consistent, and you very rarely see players just significantly take massive jumps in these rankings. They don't have any dog in this fight. And some coaches rely on the ESPN ranking, which we know that's more for marketing. Max Preps might be a bit more accurate, but it just depends on what you want to go. But most coaches just go off the eye test, because going to see these players, just like when I went and saw Bryce, the first thing you'll see is that maybe he's not going to be as good as Bronny. Maybe he's not going to be the one that goes to the league. I don't know. That's just my opinion. So, but Sierra Canyon,
first time I've heard that.
You can go to Sierra Canyon.
Yeah, the guy that can shoot anywhere on the floor won't be as good as Bronny. That's very interesting.
Who are you talking about?
Bryce. I've never heard that Bryce wouldn't be as good as Bronny. All we've heard is that Bryce is better.
First of all, I was just watching Bryce play 2 weeks ago at Section 7. He comes off the bench. He's the 10th or 11th man off the bench on a super stacked team, and he generally gets in the game when they're already up 20 to 25, right? So when the highlights that you see him getting threes off in, it's against bums in garbage time. But you know how I know that? Because I actually went and scouted, and I'm not looking at highlights on YouTube.
Okay.
So when I say that, it's coming to
I just want to know who was better than Bronny on Sierra Canyon's team his senior year. Who was the star on that team? That's what I'm asking you. You said he played on a super stack team. No, I'm asking you a question. The question is, because you go to these games, you go and watch the high schoolers play, you're scouting, right? And you said that Bronny played on a stack team at Sierra Canyon his senior year. Who was the breakout star on that team? Who was the star alongside him? His senior year, not his junior year when Amari Bailey was there, but his senior year.
They had 10 to 12. They had a ton of guys go to D1.
Who was it? Who was it? You said you watched, so who was it?
If I had my Section 7 packet in front of me, I could tell you all the players and look at all my notes. I'm not going to pretend to remember all the names. I remember Bronny James because it's the son of LeBron James. That's why I remember it.
I remember him getting cooked as a senior. That's what I remember.
You can say you remember him getting cooked. What I remember him at Sierra Canyon doing is being one of the best players on a stacked team. And if you say
he was the best player on a stacked team, but you can't name the stacked players that were on that team because it wasn't stacked his senior year. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Let me ask you this.
And the star who was way better than him the prior year, so the star who was way better than him the prior year right now is fighting for his life to be in the league. That's all that I'm saying. Amari Bailey.
All right. Hey.
Okay. Now,
let me hop in here.
Let me say one more thing about these players. Everybody thinks it's just about talent. The problem is none of you guys know the off the court stories that are attached to these players. And just the same thing happened with Bronny James' teammate at USC, Boogie Ellis, right? When yes, you could say that right now he's probably a better player today than Bronny. But when you look at his trajectory through college and some of the problems that he had in multiple D1 schools, he comes with a story and he comes with baggage. And NBA teams have to look at that baggage and say, is it worth the talent, right? The crowd that he hangs out with, the troubles that he had at schools like Duke before he came to USC. Yeah, he's always put up a great stat line, but he's going to come with a ton of baggage that he's going to have to shake that reputation. So again, I know that it's not always about talent. It's a whole story that comes with every single player. And sometimes your baggage can get you checked off a couple different lists. And that's what unfortunately happened to Boogie Ellis.
And now the story is of the Kardashians. Now we're keeping up with the Kardashians. That's the story.
Of basketball. You can try to ignore it and try
the reality is the Kardashians.
But it happens. It happens.
All right. Well, listen, Coach, man, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. We could go back and forth on this all night, but thank you for sharing your insight.
Glad to hear that insight, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Answer that question, though. He didn't answer that question. He said a lot of stuff.
Because everything he said is a lie.
He's been there, guys.
Every single thing he said was a lie.
He's been there, but again, he didn't answer the question.
Because I know.
Exactly.
Well, you know how. Where's the proof?
All right, hold on. G, go ahead. Restate the original question. We'll let you answer this, and then we'll let you out of here.
The question was, do he think that LeBron had influence on what his son getting to the league? I think that was the cut and dry question that was asked.
Do I believe that LeBron James had any? Yes, LeBron James did.
Yes, all right.
That was the question.
Just like Steph Curry played a role in getting his brother-in-law a job with the Warriors when he probably shouldn't have been in the league. Just like Giannis got his brother a job with the Bucks when he probably shouldn't be in the league. It's just like J.R. Smith got his brother had the Knicks spend $2 million to get his brother on the Knicks G League team. Yes, these players use their gravity to make things happen for themselves. And it happens all around the league.
Taken away from other young black men.
The biggest muscle to flex in the NBA right now.
None of these players had Drake bring them out on draft night. Sorry.
This thing is a watered down era.
He's a star. He's a
watered down era. We never had to go through this back in the day, man.
This has been happening podcast when I had Scott Williams on the show. Scott Williams said Jordan went to the team and said, hey, I need y'all to draft Scott Williams, my homie from North Carolina. He was on my show and said the only reason he was on the Bulls is because Jordan went to the front office and said draft Scott Williams.
So that right there, Coach, and I'm not trying to argue or say that Scott Williams is not telling it. We know that Jerry Krause and Michael Jordan hated each other's guts, and Jerry Krause would never have reason to defend anything. And he made it clear on multiple occasions that Michael Jordan never went to him and told him trade anybody, never told him to acquire anybody, never told him draft anybody. So I'll just say that.
I wouldn't have had a career in the NBA if it wasn't for Jordan. He was at home, didn't know what he was going to do. Jordan made a call, and he was with the Bulls.
Listen, again, I'm not there. I can't say it, but we'll leave it at that, Coach. We could do the he said, she said all night.
Go check the video out.
All right.
This is what he said. That's not my story. This is his story.
No, I got you, but I'm also telling what Jerry Krause said. And so we got one guy saying one thing, another guy saying another. But it is what it is. Thanks so much for calling in. I appreciate you. Make sure you stick around. Check the channel. We got a whole bunch of content out there, man. Thanks so much.
I love your show, man. Good work, y'all.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So Michael Jordan did
Jakari, go ahead and call back, man.
On North Carolina. He did.
And Roy Williams said no.
Yeah, he said no.
Yeah. Jakari, call back, man. I ain't forget you, man. That last call ran a little long, but yeah, call us back.
We have to start putting time limits on these things, ain't it?
Yeah, I know, man. I don't think we're gonna get to that second topic tonight, man. This is too good. It's about to be 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, man. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, so my thing is I think it's very interesting because when people, try to pull Jordan did this and did that in Chicago, I'm like, well, Jerry Krause, a man who hated Jordan, and everyone knows this, they hated each other. He made it clear that Mike never told him to get anybody or trade anybody or draft anybody. So I don't know. Jakari, what's up, man?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yo, what's happening?
What's going on, man?
Hey, I wanted to. Is her name Dominique? I've been in and out of the show.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had mentioned this whole kind of idea that black folks are losing.
You sound a little muffled, man. I can barely hear you. You sound muffled.
You were saying we're missing out on the opportunity at that 55th pick, and so I'm curious, like these folks at the 55th pick, they're not making generational money.
I'm so sorry, but I cannot hear you. I really do want to answer your question. All I heard was 55th pick.
Hello?
Sky?
That we better? We good?
Yeah, that's much better.
Much better. There we go. Woo. Yeah, that's struggling over here, man.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, what's happening? Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. Good morning.
Right.
Well, it's 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah, Cali. That's right.
Yeah, no, it's wild. But one of my issues was that you were making a very strong case that black folks are losing an opportunity because of Bronny, right? But we're acting like he was, the 20th pick or he was a lottery pick. This brother was the 55th pick. Whoever was going to get that spot is probably not going to be making generational money, and they probably most likely going to be out the league. What do you say to that?
I have a question for you, though. You don't think that $1 million can get somebody's mom out of the hood? Like, I'm from New York City. A lot of the guys that can ball are from the projects. They live in Dykeman, which is if you've ever been to Dykeman games, it's a very rough, upbringing. Most guys are hustling on the corner. If you could stop living that life, get your mother out of Dykeman projects or, the Harlem projects, wouldn't you want to be able to do that? Even off of a $600,000 contract, you might be able to do something like that and just buy a home for your family to live in. All I'm saying is Bronny was offered $7 million over 4 years. And guys who are better than him are fighting just for a spot in the G League right now. So that's what I'm talking about. So I get it. It might not be generational, but that is why a lot of guys, there's only 400 spots in the league. And, we are the best athletes. We have the best talent. And, there are just plenty of guys that needed that opportunity. And my point is that Bronny didn't need to play basketball. LeBron said it himself that he could have done anything. He could have done anything that he wanted to do. LeBron has so many resources. He owns so many companies. He could have passed him down anything. So I get it. He wanted to play in the league with his son. I have zero problem with that. My problem is people saying that he earned it. So we know nepotism exists. We know people are going to put their son in the league. We saw Doc Rivers do it. He put him on the Clippers after his career should have been over. We know that these things are going to happen. I'm fine with it, honestly. I really don't care. It's the spectacle. It's the idea that we're going to go to the public at a press conference and say that Bronny earned it. He earned it. He thanked JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka for the opportunity that they gave him. He said it right. And then they came in and interrupted. You earned it. Are you kidding me? That's all I'm saying. Just be real. That's all you have to say is that, hey, I'm putting my son on this team. Too bad. This is what's going to happen. But we don't bring these people that, put their son in the league. They were not brought out in the draft by Drake and celebrated like a number one pick. That didn't happen. All I'm saying is this is being treated like the 2010 decision where, LeBron promised us 8 rings in Miami and he didn't deliver. People wanted him to live up to that hype. People were criticizing him for that because of what he says. He's done it throughout his whole career where he's overpromised and underdelivered. That's the problem. If LeBron never said anything his entire career, people probably would believe that he was the best player of all time. But it's when you in my work, in my line of work, I'm supposed to under-promise and over-deliver. I never tell somebody I'm going to do something that I can't do. I'm going to promise a lot less and look like a hero. That's like the formula.
I guess what I'm having trouble with is, though, if you have the talent to be a 55th pick, you also have the talent to go overseas and potentially make more money and have a longer career, correct?
Yeah, I'd say that.
I don't think he has the talent to be the 55th pick. So are you asking me, or are you saying, okay, Bronny is a 55th pick and he could go overseas?
I'm saying that anyone else, if they had the talent to have been a 55th pick, they can go overseas to Europe or Latvia and probably make more money and put their family in a greater position, if that's the point you want to harp on. That's my issue. I think we're acting like if you don't get drafted, then your career's cooked.
But right? What's the evidence though that Bronny got what was his contract size? It was $7 million. So you're telling me that same person, instead of they would deny the $7 million and go overseas, and you're saying they'd make more than $7 million. That's what you're telling me.
If you're really that guy, yeah.
No, not about being that guy. If you're on the talent level, if you're a 55th pick. No, but if you're a 55th pick, if you're a second round pick in the NBA and you were given $7 million, that was your offer. You're telling me that they would go overseas instead and make more, that they can make more. Do you know what the contract sizes are overseas?
Well, depending on who you are, and if you're really that guy,
get the same
really
thing.
think of that.
I don't think so. I need to see the evidence that, European players are getting more money than NBA players right now.
How much did Pat Bev
NBA
get?
contracts are huge.
Like, $3 million.
That's more than what Bronny got.
Pat Bev is Pat Bev, though.
We're acting
But
like
that's overseas.
He wasn't offered $3 million overseas, though, as coming into the NBA when nobody know what he could do. Overseas leagues, they're paying for what they know that washed up NBA players can do. So Pat Bev is washed up. He's out of the league, and now it's just the same thing like Dwight Howard. He went over there and scored 100 in Taiwan, but they knew what he could do, so that's why they paid him.
We saw LaMelo Ball go international.
What was his contract? It wasn't more than him going to the NBA. Let's not make overseas contracts.
Is that they're still able to put their families in a better position, which was something that
you said that they were make more money. You're saying they would make more money. So you're saying that somebody should be forced to go and play overseas because Bronny is taking their spot? You're saying that the person that they need to leave their family and go overseas to play. That doesn't make really much sense to me. Most players, they dream of being in the NBA. That's the dream, is to make it to the league. And if you make it in as a 55th pick, hopefully you can become a really great player.
We're acting like, it's the 55th pick. All right.
All I'm acting like is that we are
something crazy.
All I'm acting like is this is overhyped. All I'm acting like is that LeBron told us that he was better than guys on the Lakers, and we're not seeing that. We're trying to figure out if Bronny can live up to the hype. And that's all that we're trying to figure out.
For sure. But I think we're acting as if this man is a complete scrub, which he is not. We see that he's not a complete scrub. I'll say this.
I'm sorry, I don't agree. He was a complete scrub in college.
I grew up in San Diego, so I grew up. You hear the rumbling of Bronny James and Mikey and all these folks going crazy, right? And even Boogie Ellis, who I went to school with. So I'm not saying this like we are from somewhere random, right? We know that he can ball. It's not some plumber that we found off the street in Ohio. He's
not a plumber because he's LeBron James's son that had every single resource to be better.
Yeah, but that's just
so he started out with every single resources that most kids that I grew up with. So I went to Villanova, okay, and I've seen guys, get drafted that were really good. I saw Allen Ray not get drafted, and he was the star at my school. Okay, so when I just want to understand why it's not okay for us to have this discussion. Basically, what you're calling me up to say is that we should not be critiquing Bronny because he's the 55th pick.
No, I don't want to. That's not what I'm trying to put out there.
So what is the main point? I do want to understand.
My thing is that we're acting as if these folks aren't drafted, there's no other way to the league, and there's no other way to making money playing basketball.
I didn't say that.
Well, that was a big point. Oh, you taking
that wasn't my biggest point. My biggest point is that we're overhyping, that this is overhyped. My biggest point is that I don't think that a father and son duo that isn't good is legendary history that I'd want to see. I'd prefer to see the Lakers win a title this year than Bronny and LeBron on the court together. Yeah, that's what I would prefer to see. That's my biggest point. That basketball and team sports are about winning. It's not about creating narratives and creating reality show fodder.
I think there's something to this. We're acting like it is a business. That man is going to bring tickets.
And do you know that the Lakers business is failing? Can somebody pull up the Lakers earnings report? Please.
Like
they are losing. No, that's revenue. That's not profit. So that's the problem that people have, is that they state facts and they don't understand them. The Lakers are losing money. They are not. Look at EBITDA. Do you know what that is? That's
smart to draft someone.
Revenues and profits are not the same.
So let me ask you
profits or revenue. That's another question.
I'm sorry?
So did you ask for revenue or profit just now? Which one would you want?
She asked for the Lakers earnings report.
I want the earnings report. The earnings report will discuss what their earnings are. It will show you that, that they're losing money. They're not making money.
I don't follow.
Their operating costs, are basically more than the revenues that they're generating.
So why wouldn't it make sense to draft someone who can help get more money into the organization?
What I'm trying to tell you is that these things, winning is what makes organizations money and profitable, just so you know. Winning always solves all the problems for any organization. Any organization, the problems are solved when you win.
What other move could they have made?
I
remember you mentioned Chris Paul.
The move that the Lakers could have made to win several years ago was to move away from LeBron instead of extending somebody that doesn't play defense, can't shoot the ball, and can't work with all 5 positions on the floor. What you asked me is, what could they have done? That was the question that you asked.
And I'm talking about this year, right? Because this is when Bronny was drafted.
This year they extended him and gave him over $50 million, right? So they could have not done that. So you asked what they could have done, and I'm telling you a variety of things that they could have done.
That's crazy, though. The Lakers don't.
Why is it crazy? Why is it crazy when LeBron James cannot play with all 5 positions on the floor?
Hold on, Dominique. Hold on, real quick. Let me interrupt you. What was the last thing you said, Jakari? Say that again.
I said the Lakers don't get off their big star until they got their next one.
Okay, so listen. I don't know if you're seeing on the screen right now. I got Man Down Sports' comment up, right? The Lakers, and Transformer can tell you this, the Lakers were never in the business of all hype when Magic, Kareem, Shaq, and Kobe were at the helm. Now, when Magic and Kareem, it was Showtime. Shaq and Kobe, it was the Lake Show, right? They understood the value of the show, of the entertainment. But guess what? They understood what was the number one thing. The number one thing was what? Winning, right? Now, they made it a point to win, but then they added the style on top of the winning. But the style doesn't do you any good if you're losing, right? So that's where you're losing right now as a Laker fan, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about winning. And the Lakers have lost sight of that because they're allowing LeBron James to do what he's doing. But we're gonna go ahead because.
But think about this though, Bruce. Think about this. Yeah. Russell Westbrook went to the Lakers. He had a documentary that came out. He had a clothing line. He wore a dress during Fashion Week. None of that mattered because they were losing. But again, when we're talking about LeBron James, all these other things will matter, not your play on the court. Russell Westbrook's play was critiqued and it mattered. And he's a star. He's one of the biggest stars, one of the biggest names in basketball. And he played poorly and he was called out. We didn't care about his dress that he wore during Fashion Week. We didn't care about his documentary that came out. We didn't care about his clothing line or any of it. We cared about how he was playing. We cared about him shooting bricks off the side of the backboard. That's what we cared about. That's what we spoke about.
No, Dominique, I'm with you 1,000%. And Jakari, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, at the end of the day, when we're dealing with LeBron, the reason the narrative is so powerful is because the between the lines cannot stand up to what he wants us to believe. That's why the narrative has to be so powerful. That's why there's he does things in the community. That's why there's he opened a school. That's why there's well, Jordan didn't do nothing for black people. That's why all this foolishness is out there, because what he does between the lines cannot stand up for him being the quote unquote GOAT. It's that simple.
Goodness.
It's that simple. But yo, I'm gonna let you go, man. It's definitely getting late.
Hey, good night, y'all. Good night.
All right, brother. Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead. We'll take one more call if somebody else wants to call in. And somebody who hasn't had a chance to speak yet, we'll take one more call. And if not, we're going to go ahead and we're going to scrap the Team USA comment here because, man, it's after 1 a.m. on the East Coast. And
you said Bronny going to play. Bronny going to play in the Olympics.
Man, stop, G. Don't do that, man.
He should have been Kawhi Leonard's replacement.
See, there go that oozing, that oozing player hate coming out. That's that oozing player hate. Nobody had to go far.
Why?
If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right, bro. If you're gonna get them on the Olympics, get them on the Lakers, you might as well get them on Team USA. Why not?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's hilarious.
It'd be the first father-son duo in the Olympics.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, y'all wild, man. Y'all wild.
You should be over there playing international ball anyway. So.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, it looks like we're not going to have any more calls tonight on the topic, but this was riveting, I must say. Definitely got heated at times, but that's okay because that's the nature of sports talk, and we get some of that. Yeah, absolutely. So so we like that. But listen, thanks so much, and everybody who was involved in the chat. Thanks so much for everybody who called in. Again, make sure you liking and subscribing. Appreciate all that. This is what we do, man. We make it happen. Thanks, Dominique, for coming out to join us. Really appreciate it. Look forward to having you on again. And before we get out of here, Dominique, tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, man, I'll be on Man Down Sports on Friday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time.
I'm about to say, be sure to make sure you got the coast right, because we will definitely be looking at 4 o'clock.
Right.
Where are you?
Right. Danielle, you got Danielle. I'm sorry, Dominique. Right. I was like, Danielle, Dominique, do you have any news?
Call me crazy. At least you call me.
Right. You got any news for the people? Anything you want to let the people know? Anything happening?
Man, my show is going to be coming soon. I'm still working on it, and I'm going to announce soon.
There we go. So y'all look out for that. Look out for that, because you know them takes gonna be spicy, man. It's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be like a Mexican Indian restaurant or something. It's gonna be spicy.
Can you believe I can't eat either of those foods?
Really? Okay.
You in Cali? Ooh, that sucks to be
like that. That's the one thing I miss about New York is the food.
Yeah. Well, I thought the Bay. I thought that was a pretty good food area. I thought they had really good.
It's terrible.
But it's a lot of Mexican.
The water is not good here. It's just as bad as it is in Mexico.
Oh my gosh. All right. G, you got anything before we get out of here, bro?
Oh, nah, man. Thanks everybody for that input. It's a good show.
And again, for FYF, profits and revenues are not the same. I'm going to repeat.
Oh man.
But I did want to where are you getting these numbers from? Because everything I'm pulling up,
it's public information. So you're pulling up revenues where it shows that they made $500 some odd million dollars in revenue. Income. You're looking at earnings before interest.
Positive income over.
You're looking at their 2023 earnings report. That's what you're telling me.
Only
so every company has an earnings report. So you're looking at the 2023 earnings report is what I'm asking you.
Correct.
And it shows profits, not losses.
159 million. Yes.
159 million profit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where are you getting your information? That's an actual
let's go ahead.
I looked at an earnings report I saw from 2022. So I didn't think that from 2022 to 2023 that they made a profit. So like that was the last public earnings report so like earnings reports are not always made public every single year, but the 2022 was.
So we don't know if they're in profit right now.
No, like I don't know. Their last published earnings report showed a loss. So you're telling me you looked at 2023. You said 20. You're saying you're looking at it now, but I don't think that that's available. So I don't know what report you're looking at, but I read through and it's several pages. It's very long. The 2022 earnings report that's public info, because a lot of times they have to release it for their investors, etc. And they showed a loss.
Okay, so right now we don't know.
Well, you're telling me you do know.
Well, I'm saying because that's the information I can pull up. I'm saying until we know for sure from your earnings report.
I know that the last several years of for LeBron's tenure, every single year that they published while LeBron was playing on the Lakers, they published a loss. So you're telling me that now that you're telling me Bronny is the difference maker, not LeBron.
I'm pretty sure if you look at the
that's what you're telling me. You're literally telling me that Bronny is the difference maker, not LeBron.
I didn't see you're putting words in my mouth, Dom. I didn't say that.
You just told me they made 159 million.
Words in my mouth. I swear you like my wife, but
hey, listen, we gotta wrap, y'all. We gotta wrap.
Did they make money or did they lose?
But right now we can't verify. You can't say whether they did or not.
I can say that because I saw that they lost. I think it was $39 million in 2022. That was their last published earnings report. Yes, but they have to publish it. They don't want to publish it because they're still losing money.
Oh God! So now they don't want to publish. Okay. I got it.
Most companies when they don't, if they were making record profits, like what you just tried to say that they were doing, that would be out there.
Yeah.
They didn't publish it because that hurts their ability to potentially sell their team.
All right, but listen, y'all, listen.
Way better than Bronny.
All right, G.
Harrison is way better than Bronny.
All right, listen up, y'all.
We talking about this bum.
We could do this all night, y'all. We could, and I love it. I appreciate y'all's enthusiasm. I appreciate everything you bring to the table. But we gotta call it here, y'all. We gotta call it. Again, thank you so much for everybody who's been involved, man. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. D, thanks so much for coming in. Hopefully we'll have you on again, and we are also very much looking forward to sports.
All right, guys, get your beauty rest.
We will for sure.
I don't even know how to. That was kind of.
Transformer just told me I was like his wife.
Because you put words in my mouth, girl.
Yo, Transformer, stop talking, bro. Stop talking. You try to get jammed up, son. Stop talking.
Oh, trust me, I'm not worried. Not at all.
Right, I'm gonna leave it right there.
Good night, guys.
You're gonna get yourself in the spot. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Good night.
Absolutely. All right, good night. All right, we're gonna leave it here, y'all. Have a great night. Thank you. Make sure you check back with us Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're gonna go live again. Have a good one.